DFS streaks. They help you print money every single week. Fanspeak. No cap, no gimmicks, we breaking limits. NFL bets, yeah, we live this business. Meg and Steve, that OG vision. Draft room killers on a lifelong mission. More stress to the Sunday spread. Fanspeak's that voice that's inside your head. Best ball, DFS, NFL bets. They built it brick by brick, no regrets. Fanspeak. Fanspeak team. Printing money since day one. Fanspeak. Forever.
Welcome back to another episode of Talking Ball Steveospeak. We are still in the big board streets. Plenty to talk about. Another coaching hire, a bit of a surprise. We'll get to that in a second. We will, can talk some rookie Senior Bowl stuff. Of course, also one thing I wanted to talk about is like breaking down some various team depth charts and what we're projecting for certain things, just because as I'm in these streams or I'm doing streams and seeing people draft, I think it's interesting, particularly some of these free agents. And our guy Mike Robb made a great comment in Discord today with all these coaching changes. I'm pretty sure this is the most coaching changes we've seen in a single year, plus a lot of offense coordinator coaching changes. We're going to see a lot of turnover on rosters. Some of it, is not going to be major, but just look at Seattle last year. They get Clint Kubiak, and this was not a head coaching change. And they go from Geno Smith, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, JSN, Noah Fant, to now, in the Super Bowl with Sam Darnold. JSN remains, but Cooper Kupp, they draft Horton, trade for Shaheed, and of course Barner, and then draft Arroyo. So they totally revamped their offense outside the running back position in one offseason just with a coordinator change. And so I think we should expect, not everyone's going to be that dramatic, but whether it's one or two key pieces switching around, it's going to be interesting, and particularly ones who are already free agents. Like, as I mentioned before, is Wandale coming back to Harbaugh? And originally I thought he'd be playing with Todd Monken as his offense coordinator. That has obviously changed, as Monken was the surprise, in my opinion, hire of the Cleveland Browns, which not only means Jim Schwartz is not the head coach, but it now sounds like Jim Schwartz is not happy about being passed over and wants to move on. So Browns are going to do Browns things. I mean, I get they need an offensive guy, and made more sense for an offensive guy, and you want to hire a head coach first and foremost. But it's going to be interesting what happens in Cleveland. Let me hit up chat, and we will get into a draft shortly. We got our guy Chad Candles in here, GM Steve. Chad, of course, doing the morning streams. I jumped in the stream earlier, did a draft with him and friends, and overall, I thought I had an okay draft. My running back room was about as thin as I will ever like, but you have to mix it up sometimes. We got our guy Jamie in here. Jamie, of course, responsible for the intro, and has just been crushing it with doing intros for the main Fanspeak channel, Degen Dads, who, speaking of which, will be on tonight at 9:30, I believe, on the Fanspeak network. He also has done a for Whoheem, so he is just absolutely crushing it. We got our guy, the aforementioned Mike Robb, in here. We're right, like my bankroll tracker. Yeah. Paul in here, did you vote for Bill? We got a sister checking in, Mike Robb, and liking Mike Robb's joke. Of course, Hulk's in here, and everyone, FK, new day, new ADPs. Yeah, I'll bring that up. I'll mention it on my phone. It was such a good resource FK has been doing, breaking down these. You got to check it out in our Discord. FK has been crushing it, breaking down the ADPs every day, and the differences in the risers, fallers, and now he's even doing like percentage jump, because it shows like Jahmyr Gibbs is only 3 spots, I believe, but it's like a big percentage jump. So Eddie says, I'm going to request a full button-down shirt. We got the Fantasy Football Garage. Are we drafting Bill Krosky Merritt? I'm not really. I don't like him at his current price, to be honest. I mentioned this in Chad Candle's stream because he came up there, and he's a 7th rounder, new offense coordinator. I know it's promoted from within, but we're talking the assistant to the regional manager. No, the assistant quarterback coach, David Blau, is now the offense coordinator. So I don't think he had a lot of say in the 7th round war room on the draft day last year. And, Krosky Merritt had a couple of really nice runs, a couple solid games, but he was very inconsistent, missed some key blocks when he was asked to block, wasn't perfect catching the ball, and just wasn't play for play nearly as consistent as even Chris Rodriguez, who's not exactly brimming with draft capital and prestige. So I think, there's a chance Krosky Merritt ends up being the guy, but there's also a chance Washington could draft Love with the first round pick, or draft somebody later, in the 3rd round. Would love if it's Emma Johnson, if he's still there. But and as I've said, there's just so many cheap free agents out there. Rico Dowdle, Rashard White, who could go back to playing with Jaden from their Arizona State days. J.K. Dobbins. Is J.K. Dobbins or Bill JCM who's going to get the rock? I think it'd be J.K. Dobbins. So, and that doesn't even take into account like Breece Hall moving on or something of that nature. So, we will talk about that more, of course. I wonder what percentage of Ricky person will be drafted this year. That's a good shout out. Bill Belichick. Voting for Bill Belichick. Yeah. I would have voted for Bill easily to be in the Hall of Fame. I know people say the Spygate, all that kind of stuff, Flakegate. I don't care. Dude won. Dude just had a tremendous career as a head coach, and it's just unquestionable. FK not playing ahead of McNichols and C-Rod. Yeah, exactly. Like Jeremy McNichols, because he could block better and, of course, catch the ball better. And C-Rod got more short yardage work. Again, Bill had some big runs like that run Christmas Day, massive, just incredible. But I just don't know if that's enough to keep him to have a major role. Yep, I tend to agree. I don't think he would have been this top tier guy. We got Sam asking, what are we doing with Derrick Henry? Well, I always, Todd Monken was not going to stay with the Ravens. That was clear. I'm still riding the Henry train. I think Jesse Minter, it's interesting. They move on from Harbaugh, but Minter is essentially a Harbaugh disciple. Harbaugh family disciple, I should say. And we'll see what their offense coordinator situation is, but I would be shocked if Derrick Henry is not the focal point of that offense in conjunction with, of course, Lamar. But I don't think they're going to just go to being let's mix up 3 running backs or let's spread it out and take Henry off the field. That just doesn't make sense to me. Of course, Steve wants to build in the Hall to still be after college years. Exactly. I mean, Mike knows me so well. Honestly, Henry had a good year. Obviously, his biggest weeks were in the playoffs, but he still had a good year. Even if you look at his numbers up through week 14, wasn't as strong as where he finished, but you could say that about a lot of people. I mean, Brock Purdy obviously was just the absolute playoff darling at quarterback. So let's get in the first draft. We'll keep talking about things, and feel free to, again, ask any questions, talk about any particular teams. But let's get into our first draft today. I'll do at least 2, maybe 3. Let's see how we're feeling. We'll do a big board. I'm going to count it down, and I will try to do it from my computer, but we will see, hopefully no location error issues. So counting it down, entering in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. Let's go. No location error. It's going to be a good day. And it was a fresh room, so sorry for anyone who got into the pre-flow. Still waiting on 8. So yes, just 2 coaching jobs left, Raiders and Cardinals. Cardinals, the news coming out that they interviewed Ron Rivera. That's one that definitely I didn't have on my bingo card, given how bad things, A, ended in Carolina, but B, really were in Washington. And just his drafting was just horrendous. I mean, I like the guy, long-time NFL great, I think he was a good coach at one time, but this is not what I'd be trying to do to save your franchise, and playing in one of the toughest divisions in the NFL is going to Ron Rivera. If you want to retread, call up Sean McDermott. All right, so let's see. Hulk is at the 101. I'm at the 102. We got FK at 107, King QC 108, Legion 109. I recognize Chi-Town True, I believe. If you're in here, give us a shout. Anyone else, give us a shout. And thank you again for joining me. Of course, like this episode. And if you're not in our Discord, as I mentioned before, a lot of great comments, a lot of great information in there. It is free. The link is below. And you can join us on Substack. It's a one-time payment for a year. So we have you covered all around, but I appreciate everyone's support. Let's see here. Let me hit up chat as we're about to start. Steve, if you're going to do 3, you might as well do 4. Make it even number. Come on, even Steven. We got Stephen WC in here. Good afternoon. Hope you're doing well. FK, what odds do you give Raiders job going to Kubiak? I think my guess is, let me make my pick. I'm going to take Gibbs at the 102. My guess is the fact that we haven't heard more on the Raiders is he is the clear favorite and front runner. I'd almost have to imagine he has to take himself out of the job for him not to get it, would be my guess at this point. Just because, for a team that Raiders, I think have a pretty good situation. Number 1 overall pick, Bowers, Genty, a couple other interesting offensive guys, a defensive leader in Mason Crosby. Vegas is a nice spot. Weird owner, but at least Brady's there now. Nice stadium. So, it seems like a pretty good gig, right? To me, I think it's Kubiak. Like I said, he'd have to decline for it not to be him, would be my guess. Because we also heard the Jags offense coordinator is returning and staying. So, and then that, not that I heard him talk about, but that Nate Shalhassi or whatever, the passing game coordinator from the Rams, said that he's going to stick with the Rams and jump back in next cycle, is from what I heard. I mean, sure, maybe at the Raiders offer that changes, but I'm guessing probably kind of known around league circles that it's his job if he wants it. There it is. Yeah. Nice to see you. I knew I recognized the name. Appreciate you jumping in, Sam, and good luck in the draft as well. 3 of us can advance from this. I mean, there's over half this draft is us, so hopefully we take all 3 spots. That's tough. We got Blue Blood UNC in here saying hi. Hope you're doing well. Yeah. Hurts is his second quarterback that early. I mean, I will say, do enough of these builds, I probably will do some since quarterbacks in general are pushed up, right? But you have this window of quarterbacks, Daniels, Hurts, Burrow. I mean, these were top 50-ish picks last year. So if you're pairing, Lamar in one of them or something, and you're just going to be like, okay, I'll pay the high price at 2 quarterbacks and just be done. I will probably do that a couple times, just because you can just say, okay, I'm done. and then I'll just add an extra pick somewhere else. But I get the frustration for sure of not getting your guy. But I've seen wild things so far. I've seen, let me make my pick and then I'll comment. All right, so Gibbs. I'll go Pickens. This, I feel, is, speaking of depth charts, I feel pretty certain Pickens is back in Dallas. Probably an extension, but at the very least, franchise tag. And we know what that passing offense can be. So let's see what Hulk does here. Takes Olave. I like that. Olave is somebody I want to be ahead of market on. He goes T. Higgins. I'll go Chase Brown. Probably would have taken T there, but Chase Brown, if you look at his games with just Flacco and Burrow, his numbers are very impressive. And obviously, if you get a whole year of Burrow, that's even better. So I'm going to be a believer in Chase Brown, I think, this year. I'm hoping we can get a healthy Burrow, and they can maybe do a little bit more to solidify the offensive line. I know most of their picks will be on the defensive side of the ball, but and also for that reason, even if P. Ryan moves on, I think Taj Burks just kind of fills in that role. It's semi-annoying, as we saw P. Ryan steal a couple touchdowns late in the year from Chase Brown, but overall Brown's usage is, I think, good enough to definitely justify that turn type pick. Yeah, this is what I wonder is when and where is the threshold where reaching negates the added value from stacking, particularly in a contest where there's not going to be near as much total stacking. Treat this more like drafters contest or marathon contest where just total points are going to matter the most, right? Like, yes, in the playoff format, yes, it is still a playoff format, but we don't know where any of the rookies are going. We don't know where a lot of the free agents are going. There's so many unknown quarterback situations, et cetera, depth charts that could be shaken up because of some of these new coaching changes, et cetera. If a stack works, great, but is reaching a round or two worth it? I don't know. Like Meg mentioned a team. She took Purdy, 18 spots of ADP, and I get that he's going to go there sometimes. And I like Purdy, but it's just, maybe you could have waited around. And is it worth it? Now, I get that for the build, like she had Pearsall and took Jennings as well, or maybe I can't remember. She had at least two 49ers. I get it. I just don't know when reaching is worth it in this kind of contest. I just think it's worth debating a little bit more, just since stacking as a whole is going to be less. Coolers, but no, it's hard for you. Yeah, no, it is very hard, and some of it is we just don't know. Like even some quarterbacks, like you can take a Cam Ward, and right now we can say, DK, Manor, but they could draft a receiver in the first round. They could sign a free receiver. They could sign a tight end. Helm seems good, but what if they go out and say, nope, we're going to go get Kyle Pitts. We're going to go get, whoever. Very well could happen. So, these stacks that we create might not be as good. Let's see, coming up here, Drake May, he started to fall a little bit, didn't come back to me. I'm going to take Luther Burden. I like his value here. And after my rant of not stacking, if Caleb comes back, I will take Caleb here. Yes, I totally agree. One reason also is everyone wants to record. Yeah, absolutely. And so it's pushing things up, pushing things around. I'll take Caleb here. We'll get a stack. But, Bears are an interesting one because, right now DJ Moore is a top 100 pick. There's definitely some, talk or thought that he could get traded. We could see that with a couple other situations around the league as well. So since Toxic Tower started their paid subs on YouTube being Toxic Plunks, what will you call us? STD groupies, lovers of old, husky hammers? We'll have to come up with something good. That's in the works. And this is where I'm at, Hulk, is I'll reach a quarterback because it is still the highest scoring position. So taking, lower tier scores or zeros are just going to usually cost you. And I understand I say that as we just saw the BBM winner have Brock Purdy, Bryce Young, and Tyler Shuck, meaning that there was a time where I'm pretty sure he took a 0 because Purdy and Young were out at the same time and Shuck was not starting yet. So, I do acknowledge his quarterback scoring was not ideal. But he had it where it counted in the playoffs. Purdy was clearly QB1. If Purdy is not QB1, Sam Sherman is not winning the BBM. There's no question on that. Great minds. Yep. Yeah, as Meg says, we are going to do that. Crowdsourcing our loyal chat. Yeah. All right. Let's see. I'm always scared everyone to need one of the quarterbacks that run. Never know when someone will snipe you and go, yeah. And that is very valid. I mean, a lot of these mobile quarterbacks have at best like one solid or good stacking partner, sometimes two. Which caused me to reach. Yeah. I've been finding stacking easier to do outside of Detroit and Atlanta. You can get any stack you want. Nothing is a reach in January. And that's fair. Nothing. They definitely aren't efficient. And it is, as FK is showing, these ADPs are totally changing basically by the day. You know what? We don't know where he'll be, but I will take Alec Pierce. His ADP is it's starting to fall some, which is nice. But we know the upside that he brings to the table. Got Charles in here checking in, GM. Hope you're doing well, Charles. This is our first big board draft of the day. I take Diggs as my fourth receiver. But, Diggs is another example, legal issues aside for a second. Right now he's the Patriots, de facto number one receiver. But they could go out and draft somebody, bring somebody else in, and he just gets pushed to a much lesser role, and his 74 ADP doesn't look great. But that's what we kind of have to deal with across the board. And make some projections. Like Burden, I think is fine as ADP, but boy, if DJ Moore gets traded, you're probably getting some surplus value there. Got TD Mr. Mufasa checking in. How we doing, Steve? Doing well. Doing the first big board of the day, on stream, that is. And talking coaching changes, free agents, rookies, whatever we want to talk about. I think there's a lot to value. And after this draft, I want to bring up rankings and go over a couple teams where I think there might be some interesting inefficiencies out there. Maybe we can exploit. So coming up, I'm 1, 2, 4 through 7 picks. Coming into the 8th round. Definitely running back has thinned out, as we can see. Oh, this might be a winner from Eddie. We'll have to see, but I like it. All right. So we got Legion, QC, and FK coming up their 8th round. I'm guessing they're probably going to snipe a couple of the guys I'm looking at. Okay, you slipped that on stream. That is, yeah. Well, I did do a draft in Chad Candle's stream today. I'm trying not to get ahead too far ahead. I don't want to have 50 drafts done by the Super Bowl. There's just still so much unknown. In fact, the winner of the big board last year was in Chad Candle's stream this morning. He mentioned he drafted the winning team, I think, in March. So, well after all the coaching stuff, after all the, big free agency stuff. But he did have another finals team that he drafted late January. So definitely, you can have success at multiple times, but you don't want to draft too many too soon. And that's why I haven't done any slows yet. As much as I miss the slow streets, I'm trying to pace myself. All right. So FK stole my Dak Prescott, but I get it. I think Rico. I think him or Price make the most sense there. Quorum, we know where he'll be at, but it's just clearly in the secondary role. There's value there. It's just Price or a Rico just have much greater upside. I think I will take Bo next. Sounds like they expect him to be ready by May, so he should be fully ready for the offseason. I did see the Sean Payton quote that he had some sort of degenerative thing that there's a question of when, if not if, he would have an ankle issue, which is intriguing why he runs so much. But Bo Nix, I think we know what we got. Mobile quarterback, good offense. Also a guy you can backstack. Guys like Franklin and Mims come later. Also Bryant. So I like him in this quarterback range as, even if you don't get Sutton, you can, still find a good situation. What do you think of Monken to the Browns? Haven't really been drafting Browns. So overall, from a fantasy standpoint, I think Monken to the Browns is good. I think he's a good offensive mind, good offensive coordinator. 3 years with the Ravens, obviously very productive. Lamar's, 2 insane years, and then this past year, of course, Lamar gets injured and a few other issues, but they still finished relatively top 15 both categories, I believe. So I think Monken's a good offensive coach. I think it hurts the Browns defense because it sounds like they're losing Jim Schwartz. But, can he get the most out of Shador? Can he get the most out of, they try the Watson scenario again? Maybe. Browns are still probably looking at a quarterback. So they're in an interesting situation because the Browns, here's the tough thing with the Browns is the quarterback situation is not ideal. We'll say that. Easily one of the weaker ones in the league. The running back situation looks pretty good. Judkins and Sampson, the Judkins coming off an injury. Tight end, Njoku, free agent, but Fannin looks to be very good, though. Got a little banged up down the stretch. But wide receiver is really bad. I mean, you have Jerry Jeudy, Tillman, who can't stay healthy, Isaiah Bond. Nothing to write home about. So I expect them to make some moves there. They do have 2 first-round picks. I don't think they spend one on a quarterback. So I'm guessing one of those ends up earmarked for a receiver. Would be at least an early guess. And ideally, the other one's probably for the offensive line. But we will see what Monken does. I do think he's a quality coach and can get the most out of his players. I just don't know if there's not a lot of talent there. So I don't know if I'm going to be overly drafting Browns right now. I think Judkins is okay. I think Fannin, so far he's been slipping a little bit. I think that's probably right, just because even though I like Monken, I'd be shocked if that offense is a top 20 offense. And I don't know how many pieces of Browns I want to be drafting in the top 75, 100 picks for a non-top 20 offense. Let's see where we're at here. John Coleman. Hulk's probably looking at running back here. So I'm sitting at 244. So I enter the 11th round. Don't mind Brenton Strange, but not going to be a priority. All right, so passing on running back, I'm going to pull up Emmett Johnson. I'm a big fan. Obviously, I'm ranked pretty high, 111. Probably will move him up in my next rankings as well. And now I really like this running back room. Receivers will need to catch up, but with 4 veterans, there's a lot of depth at receiver. I think this is going to be a consistent comment we talk about. Some of it you need to, get to land right, of course. But the fact that you can get like starting receivers late, Trey Tucker, Jerry Slayton, maybe Bateman, Mims, guys like that. Another one, Trey Harris, as I mentioned before. I mean, this guy goes super late, but presumably with Ian Allen moving on, has a very clear full-time role. The little board being 20 max makes it tough as well. Might wait and draft, might do a few here and there, but mostly win. Yeah. And, it depends on how much your total do. And honestly, even maxing it, I think it would be smart to wait more. Some of this is just to do content, to do shows. But if I wasn't doing shows, I probably wouldn't be doing as many this early. And this is the other reason, like Kelly says, I love drafting. Yep, 100%. Me too. It's hard to not watching everyone. Will you be doing any drafters early best ball? Yes, I will. Sure, we'll figure out shows. I'll probably do those like more dedicated shows. Maybe I'll do somewhere and go back and forth. Haven't done any of the drafters yet, but I saw they released their first contest, their $10 contest. Last year they did a couple $2, $3 contests pre-draft as well. I'm going to assume we see that again. And I'll do DraftKings as well. Again, maybe not as many of those on stream, but we'll see. And if that's what people want, I will definitely do more of those on stream as well. I do some golf and baseball. Yeah, I will be doing baseball. I've been saying after the Super Bowl. Like this morning, I spent like a hour looking at some young prospects who could be ready for the jump this year and trying to get a feel on them and stuff like that. So, been trying to catch up in baseball news. Is everyone falling on you feel should not be? So after this, I will bring up FK's spreadsheets. And we'll talk about them. Make me feel better about Fannin. Yeah. Bayou Bengal fan. Hey there, just subscribed. Found out about you from Who Ames. Appreciate it. And I know you have a stream as well. Always look for football is what brings us together. Absolutely appreciate it. And check out Bayou Bengal fan as well. I know last year I remember him doing a lot of. I want to say he was really into like weekly winners. And correct me if I'm wrong. And was doing a bunch of those streams. I think I jumped in one or two of those. But yeah, no, I appreciate just the whole community, whether you're a content creator or not, everyone's supporting each other. I think it's really fun. You know, I think best ball, we're still at the relative infancy of it. It's only going to grow from here. Oof, this did not turn out well. I hate this receiver range, so I'm just going to pull Jacoby Lane. And yeah, I just have a tough time taking Judy. And, you know, his ADB is falling. I think that's right. So we see what comes back to me. I can use another receiver. Might go tight end. Hawks took Sadiq. I think I'm going to go for Henry if presumably he is there. All right, let me get back to chat. Like Fannin, I think native game script is in the cards for them. More often than not, CD Alexander should lead a ton of fantasy points for Njoku, most likely for agency. Yeah, no, and one good point to monk in is, you know, first couple of years with the Ravens, obviously Andrews and Likely were very involved and had very strong years. And then, of course, going back to his college days, Georgia, he had this guy called Brock Bowers and Darnell Washington. You know, he definitely featured tight ends. So I think he'll know how to use Fannin. But I still have a tough time taking that high of a tight end on such a bad team. Countdown to 900 followers income. Appreciate it, Eddie. Yeah, hopefully we will get there soon. Community is so good for best ball. Met so many great people. I love watching content creators. Yep, absolutely. 100%. Appreciate it. Yeah, hit the like button if you haven't already. Thank you everyone for joining. Speaking of baseball, how do you feel about the Nats trade sending my guy to Texas? Yeah, no, I was a big Mackenzie Gore fan. I understand, you know, they feel they're not ready and they're kind of wasting his cheap years, you know, more arbitration years. They got a five player deal. Sounds, you know, the top guy, the young shortstop they got, who Rangers just drafted, is probably the key to the deal, but might be more quantity than quality. overall, which is always worrisome. From the Rangers side, I think he fits right in. I mean, he's going to be, third, fourth starter. Like, now he's got the offense, should have much better offense supporting him. I think he's a good pitcher. So I definitely like it from the Rangers side. I think they're going to be an interesting team this year. All right, 7 picks away. Sitting at 2.551. We'll see if I can get a third quarterback that I like. Speaking of streamers, we got GAB for Life, also known as GAB Sports on YouTube. Definitely give him check him out. He and I have gone back and forth. I think we'll probably do some shows in the near future. So I know he's doing like NBA props and stuff like that, or DFS. But I know he's talking about getting into best ball streaming as well. So want to give him a shout out. There's Sue Hames, again, speaking of streamers and people that collab with Who Hames and I have done a lot of shows together. We definitely need to find some time to do some shows, talking rookies and off season and everything. So I'm sure we'll be doing that in the near future. But hope you're doing well, Who Hames. What was your early impression on drafting this season? This last season feels completely different for me. Yeah, and I think FK made this comment in Discord, like right now he's not drafting a lot of rookies. And honestly, I get it. I mean, I know I went back-to-back rookie running back here and then a rookie receiver. But it's definitely not near a stronger rookie class. So let's take our Troy Franklin stack. I truly think there's one draftable quarterback, Mendoza. Maybe you can make a case for Ty Simpson. Maybe somebody else becomes this year's Tyler Shock. But a lot of that probably won't be known until after the draft. Running back is far weaker. Last year you could just make so many cases, and sure, they didn't all work, didn't all hit, and some hit that we didn't know, like the aforementioned JCM or Woody Marks, Kalman guy. Let's not miss our pick. I will go with Theo Johnson. He definitely seemed to have a nice connection with Dart. So go that route. And then receivers, I think it's better than last year, but not as good as the year before. And then tight end, last year was a great tight end rookie class, and other years have had like the one or a couple of years ago had another big rookie class, and then 2 years ago was, of course, Brock Bowers. This year, Sadiq is good, but all the other ones seem like second, third round guys, and if they get a good landing spot, great. If the Falcons take a tight end in the second round, whether it's Claire or Stowers or Trigg or whoever they may be, yeah, and they haven't signed anyone to replace Pitts, yeah, they could be a fantastic fit. But if they do what the Rams did and take a second round tight end, or the Seahawks took a second round tight end and then they're behind somebody, as we saw, those guys aren't worth drafting. So since there's not as much general hype for the position, I don't think we're taking those guys. And then the other side of it, this is a long-winded answer, but that's probably what I'm good at, is I think free agency is much different this year. We have even more quarterback, musical chairs, more coaching musical chairs, as we saw with 10 openings. But last year's free agency class, like running backs, was essentially dust. It was Najee Harris, and Rico Dow was signed for a $3 million deal. Trevante Williams, $3 million deal. Those both ended up being good hits, but it was just a very thin free agent running back class. This year's a really strong free agent running back class, and receiver class last year wasn't as good as this year. It simply wasn't. Not all those guys changed teams, like Chris Godwin, Slayton re-signed, a few others, and that could be the same this year. Mike Evans, I expect to re-sign. Pickens, I expect to be back. Pierce could be back. A few others, but even if all those do, there's probably just more total depth of receivers moving around out there. And for sure, same with tight ends. Like Tyler Conklin was one of the better tight ends that changed hands last year. I mean, guys like Ertz and Gesicki were free agents, but they went right back to those teams, so they didn't even hit like the open market really. So this year, we have like really legit starting tight ends who are going to be moving on. And then of course there's cuts coming. TJ Hawkinson is definitely rumored to be a cut, or like an Aaron Jones. Minnesota looks to free up some money, maybe for a quarterback. So, speaking of which, I've waited on that, and it's slim pickings. I might take Penix. I don't love it. I'll just go with the trifecta of third-year quarterbacks. I at least think he's got a reasonable shot at starting. Actually, yeah, I'll wait. The third rookie running back. So kind of, I'm not as generally as high on Claiborne, but this range I think is okay. I think he's more third, fourth round pick. I see a little skill and upside there. He could be, that guy who, like a Woody Marks, doesn't have the greatest draft capital, but gets the right landing spot and can at least produce at a moderate level. I guess that's kind of more how I see him. Torrey Horton is interesting, but I've got another rookie in Zach Branch. So now sitting at 2.672. We'll see if I get a third quarterback. I still could talk myself into a name for sure. And let me catch up. No problem. Appreciate it. Looking forward to talking more ball. There we go. Yeah, 2 games tonight. We will find some time. Texas is better for him. I'm hoping I'm going to be the number one guy. Yeah. GAB Sports, and you will recognize it with his YouTube icon, because there's like another GAB Sports out there. So yeah, no worries. I don't mind talking some baseball also. Definitely like I will still root for Mackenzie Gore even though he's no longer a Net. I hit on Gadsden last season. Don't know if there is one this year. And this is something I should have been more cognizant of, because when I did a tight end show with Meg, I mentioned Rondé Gadsden because I said he's essentially a receiver, but he's going to have the tight end mark. But let's see, what his combine is. Let's see where his draft capital is. And then, it took him like 4 times. Like I just didn't. And even though he had late draft capital, he got one of the best landing spots, like much better than, say, Terrence Ferguson. I know Royo on paper looked pretty good to start, but, just he was competing with Conklin and Will Dissly. And that was just always a situation that he could become the pass catching guy there. And I just should have, followed through with my initial reaction that this is a good, NFL bloodlines, really good pass catcher, never going to be a good blocker. But he gets a good landing spot, it could pay off. And he did. I just didn't take advantage of it. So that's one I definitely kicked myself on. Because I saw the upside, but didn't follow through. So 2.672. Yeah, JV's a Raiders fan. Who Hame's a Chiefs fan. I'm sure you guys have common ground hating, Chargers in Denver. All right. I'll just take another rookie. I know I actually have a bunch this draft, probably more than I really want. But I like Brazel, very big, physical, athletic receiver. We'll need a good landing spot, but getting him this late feels like a lot of upside. Let's see, do I get a quarterback? I don't think I'll take Ty Simpson. I will do it. I will take Tua. I think he'll probably be starting somewhere for some amount of time next year. Do I think it's 4 year? No. But I think he'll be starting at some point. So really appreciate connecting, everyone. And thanks everyone for joining the chat. I'm definitely still learning when it comes to basketball and other sports. Yeah, each sport's different. For sure. I've had pretty good success with baseball in the past, and it's something I want to keep doing, even as I'm getting more and more into the NFL side. Claiborne, who he was talking about Claiborne, and this is how I see Claiborne too, and that's why I kind of said like the Woody Marks, like what I see a path. It's just not one that I really think there's a high probability on. In this particular draft that I had, I'll take a share when he falls 11 spots past ADP. That I like the top of my draft to anchor me, and I do like both of these rookies, Coleman and Johnson, to be much better. Jason Taylor, you got a horrible landing spot. Jason Taylor? Are you mean Mason Taylor? Jason Taylor's son, tight end for the Jets? Or am I missing Mason Taylor? Okay, you did confirm. Yeah. No, I mean the Jets. Last year I liked it because I thought he was going to, clearly be the starting tight end, which he was. But I mean, the quarterback play was just beyond the pale from what I thought it would be. So yeah, now going forward, I don't feel great. I don't know what the quarterback is. They just fired their offense coordinator this late in the process, which seems wild to me. I commented that the other day. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Jets. I don't have a lot of faith in that situation. Maybe they go sign Malik Willis. Maybe Tua is starting there. Who knows? It just seems like a mess. I don't think Breece Hall is going to be back unless they franchise him. He seemed to be one out of New York. Maybe they just offer him the most money and he'll take that, of course. But yeah, not a lot to like on the Jets offensively right now. And honestly, they traded away their two best defense players. So I do think there's going to be a lot of negative game scripts. So Mason Taylor, year 2, right price, I'll take him. Like last round, I'll take him. But yeah, it's not looking great. I mean, that offense was just so anemic. And didn't matter who the quarterback was, whether it's Fields, whether it's Tyrod, whether it's Brady Cook. With no business starting NFL games last year. It was bad. So I think I will just take a third tight end here. Some rookies, some value. I am going to go with Tavian Sanders. I don't know. I think he'll get a shot at the starting job again. Tommy Tremble is a free agent, I believe. And I know they brought in Mitchell Evans last year, but so I think it would just be between those two guys. Maybe they bring in somebody else, but third tight end, I'll take a shot here. So Hulk will finish this draft up, then we'll go over the teams, and then we'll talk about a few things, and then get into the next draft. All right. And we'll start. Hulk, smashed potatoes, goes 3-7-7-3. Burrow, Love, Brissett. Very real chance of three starting quarterbacks. Bijan, Connor, Kamara. So he went anchor, then took a couple vets who could be cheap value options if they retain their roles. A rookie that I like in Singleton. Brian Robinson, Naj, two free agents who, depending on where they land, could have nice solid roles. And then George Holani, who, Zach Charbonnet, mid-January ACL tear, probably not ready to start the year, probably not ready mid-year. So Holani could be, the guy behind Walker, who I do presume will be retained. Olave, Higgins, Watson, Lemon, DJ Moore, Matthew Golden, Juwan Jennings, very strong receiver room. Started early, ended early, 121, but only had to go with 7 for that reason. Or, that's I'm sure why he only went with 7. And but it's a very, very strong room. Even if we don't know for sure where like Lemon lands and maybe Moore gets traded, maybe Jennings moves on, doesn't matter. That's a very, very good room. And of course some stacks with Burrow and Love as well. And Kraft, continue the Love stack. Sadiq, Gunnar Helm. That's really solid tight end room. My team, talked about it as we drafted, but 3-6-8-3, Caleb, Bo Nix, Tua. Tua is the wild card there, but feel pretty good about Caleb and Nix. Gibbs, Brown is my anchors. Rico Dowdle, I think, probably gets a good landing spot. 2 rookies that I'm pretty high on. I think they're both like second-round talents. Claiborne, definitely a rookie I'm less on, but I got him at value. And just didn't really like what much else on the board at that point. Pickens, Burden, Pierce, Diggs. So kind of top heavy. Need the right situations for, of course, Burden, Pierce, Diggs, and Pickens, but I think Pickens is most likely to be fine. Jacoby Lane, Zach Brown, Brazell, some rookies, and then Troy Franklin is part of the stack. Hunter Henry, Theo Johnson, Jatavian Sanders. Waited on tight end, got 2 guys good about starting, then took a flyer on Jatavian Sanders. There's any number of tight ends I could take in. Evan Ingram theoretically could be a stack, but did not get a lot of usage this year. All right, next one, Chi-Town. Lamar, Daniel Jones, Michael Penix, Henry Swift, and went Katron Allen, Tosh Spears, one with Mixon, and I like Mixon in this. For me right now, until we get like some clear word, I think if you're getting Mixon past 170, it's worth a shot. Like these other guys that you're taking in that range could easily be just as much of a bust and don't have near the upside. Pacheco, Chris Rodriguez. Pacheco, I'm sure, moving on from Kansas City, but maybe he gets a landing spot. Chris Rodriguez, I honestly think he's probably a better pick at value than Bill right now, JCM. So been taking a little bit more Rodriguez. Receivers here, Chase, Brown, Mike Evans, Michael Wilson, Michael Pittman. So 3 Mikes. Leo Shakir, Rashard Bateman. Very strong room. Tacked on Bateman at the end. But had all these picks in the top 100 that you feel really good about. Also, for the most part, really strong offenses. Cincy, Philly, Tampa, Indy, and Buffalo. Arizona being the longest exception there, but usually is a positive thing. Goddard might not be back with Philly, but still a very good tight end. Andrews and likely, probably won't be in Baltimore. So definitely taking both of them there. And then go FK. Dak, Mayfield, JJ McCarthy, Saquon, Bucky, Tootin, Tucker, Caleb, Emmanuel Wilson, Adam Randall. This is a range of late running backs I don't mind taking some shots on. I've taken multiple Wilson. I took low Caleb so far. Maybe he just ends up being a big bust, but we'll see. I could, if Gainwell's not back, he could take on the lion's share of the role, the carries, and Warren more in the passing game. That's what we could see. I think Emmanuel Wilson, even there's some talk about like Jacobs being a casualty. I don't buy it, but I think Wilson has shown he's the guy. Adam Randall, again, could be like a 4th round pick. So fun little late pick there. Lamb, Flowers, Jordan Tyson, Jordan Addison, Chris Godwin, Pat Bryant, Noel. Pretty good receiver room with mix of course an elite like Lamb. Flowers part of big offense. Jordan Tyson, one of the top rookies. Addison, Godwin, Pat Bryant, Noel, and then Warren, Juwan Johnson, Terrence Ferguson. And Ferguson, I think, is going to have a much better second year with Higbee moving on. So, the biggest question is JJ the starter? But if you're doing enough drafts, take some of it. And I know he stacked it with Addison. King QC went 2792, Jaden Goff, and Jacobs, Jalen Warren, JCM, Tyron Tracy, Jordan Mason, Trey Benson, Ollie Gordon. So kind of a anchor build, which is solid. I mean, I think Tracy it's probably going to be Scattaboo the 1, Tracy the 2. Mason, I think, retains his short yardage role and could have an even bigger role if Jones is moved. Trey Benson, we talked about Arizona before. Connor and him, Benson's moving up maybe to a point I don't love it, but if you're right, you're right, and you could get a decently used running back in the 170s. That's always promising. ASB, London, McLaurin. I mean, that's a very strong top 3 receiver room. Jay Reed, I think, is good. A couple of rookies here: Concepcion, Bernard, and second-year guys. Another rookie, Kyle Williams, Besh. Both could have expanded roles this year. And then Omar Cooper Jr. I think is going way too cheap right now. Loveland Laporta, so really invest in tight end, but I like that investment and only stopping at 2. Let's see, we got Legion at 3683. Hertz, Shuck, Ward, JT, Brees Hall, UJ, Blake Corm, J.K. Dobbins, Jordan James. So, restarting quarterbacks, 2 second-year guys in Shuck and Ward who, I think could end up being both nice little values where they're at. And I mean, to get Hertz at 81 does feel nice. JT, he can, Daniel Jones stays healthy, he can be RB1. Brees Hall, ideally gets a better landing spot. QJ, if he's healthy, that's a great pick. And then 3 other backs. Corm is one of the best handcuff guys. J.K. Dobbins, we'll see where he ends up, but could have a decent role. Nico Adams, Waddle, who I'm guessing Tyreek's moving on, so probably clear 1 there. Jacoby Myers, Debo, don't know where he'll land, but I think there's a lot of value there. That's kind of where he took him is kind of where I have him ranked. Tesla should easily become the Lions' 3rd receiver. Bailey, probably the 2 or 3 in New Orleans, and Aya Manor, probably 2 or 3 in Tennessee. So some nice late value picks to pair with the stacks. And then Jake Ferg, Dalton Schultz, Pat Fryermuth. And Fryermuth is like free. And Darnell Washington, late injury. I think Chanu's gone, so probably the Frying show next year. All right, that is the first draft. Before we get into the next one, let me, on my phone, I will bring up FK's Discord breakdown of ADP movement and read it out and comment on it, because I know Paul asked on that, and I do think it's a great resource in general. So here's FK. Again, you can find this on our Discord, which is free. These are the top risers of the last 24 hours. Trey Benson, Joe Mixon, Marvin Mims, Braylon Allen, Sam Darnold, Tyler Algier, Alagayo Manor, Baker Mayfield, Tyler Shuck, Juwan Johnson. These are very similar to yesterday as well. They make sense. The quarterbacks, Sam Darnold's in the Super Bowl. Baker Mayfield, this guy's been a top 10 quarterback, 2 previous years. Tyler Shuck, very impressive as a rookie, all making sense that they're moving up with the scarcity of the position. Juwan Johnson was just one of the most criminally mispriced guys to start. Ian Manor, I think seeing the office coordinator shift, Dable is also positive for him. Tyler Algier, I think is, we talked, we mentioned when we talked running back free agents before, but could easily have a nice little landing spot, and same for Mixon. So yeah, I think that group makes sense. The fallers, some of these fallers are interesting to me. Rashard Bateman, Keon Coleman, Jacoby Lane, Chris Bell, Max Clare, Keenan Allen, Trigg, Leggett, Wicks. Again, it's like the same guys keep falling. I get Keon Coleman could easily get cut. I get Chris Bell is dealing with an injury. Tight end, the rookie tight ends, as we mentioned, there's just so many veterans, and you could go there. The one that really shocks me, I guess the two that really shocked me are Jack Besh and Rashard Bateman. Besh, second round pick. Not a lot of other talent for the Raiders. Raiders won't be using the number 1 overall pick on a receiver. Even if they take one in the second or third round, Besh could, potentially be better than them, particularly in his role. Bateman, was likely moving on. Bateman could easily reclaim like a bigger role, particularly in the red zone. 2 years ago, he had like a third of the targets of Zay Flowers, but had as many red zone targets. So we'll see if he can bounce back. I think where he goes now is pretty good. It intrigues me that Jacoby Lane is a rookie that's been falling. I don't totally understand why that is. I think he's a solid value, probably a day 2 pick in the NFL draft, and could really pay off. And truly, Dontavian Wicks, I'm going to be back in Green Bay. He's a guy who's flashed. If he gets a nice little landing spot, he could be interesting. I don't know how much I'll take him right now, but he's one I could see really paying off. And then this is what FK did. He did a percent change, and Jahmyr Gibbs has the highest percent change, 30% increase. Trey Benson is next, Jalen Waddle, Kenneth Walker, Tyler Algier, Luther Burden, and Terry McLaurin are all 15% or higher increase since the contest opened. Sam Darnold, Parker Washington, Monra, Javonte, Joe Mixon, Baker, Tyler Shuck are all 12 to 14%. And then we have Brian Thomas, Ashton Genty, QJ, Quinshon Judkins, Marvin Mims, Braylon Allen, Juwan Johnson, and Garrett Wilson improving 10% or more. Garrett Wilson is the one that surprises me, I think, the most on this list, because he was already at a pretty high starting price, and he has no quarterback, no offense coordinator. I mean, it's just a mess. I think he's a very talented receiver, but I just don't know if I'm going to be overly joyed to be taking him in the early 4th round. And then from the opposite of that, the negative fall, and some of these I think are just, they were just priced too high to begin with. Josh Downs, Drake May, Wicks, Leggett, Dubs, Jerry Jeudy are all 17 to 15% that they've dropped in price. CeeDee Lamb, 18% drop. Elijah Surratt, 19% drop. Chris Bell, about 19.5 drop. Surratt, he's definitely going to be a polarizing prospect. I'm on the plus side. I believe I'll have to ask him. I think PPR Tyler's on the plus side for Surratt as well. I know some are not in his camp. Bijan Robinson, 20% drop, but it goes from an ADP of 1 to ADP of 1.2. JSN, same thing, 4 to 4.8. Jacoby Lane, 21%. Steph Diggs, 21%. That I think is potentially some value, but like I said, we don't know where the depth chart for the Patriots will be next year. Alec Pierce, this one I think is normalizing. I think he was a little too high to begin with. Definitely should be a top, 70-ish, 75 pick. He's now going 67th overall. Puka falling from 2 to 2.5. And then Kyle Pitts. This one was just always way too high. Now going 62, and I think he's going to continue to fall, particularly until we get a good landing spot. So definitely appreciate FK for doing that. Let me hit up chat before we get into anything else. Trig is the late round tight end I'm monitoring. Yeah, he's definitely on my short list. I think him, Stowers, Claire are all intriguing guys. It's just going to be where they land. How much Thielen are we getting this year? The trade did not go well. He definitely went from not a great situation in Carolina, but it would have been much better than he was in Minnesota. So unfortunately, my guy Adam Thielen is retiring. That just did not go my way. Trig is interesting. Like these tight ends, it's not a totally devoid of talent group like we've had some years. It's not a great tight end group, but those are some guys who will be starters. Just will they be year one guys? Any underrated guys with ADP value you're noticing? That's what I want to talk about in a second. I'm going to go over a couple of teams that I think might have some surplus value out there. I'll talk about that in a second. I basically don't want any Jets or Browns is what I'm hearing. I'm definitely lower on them until I see some positivity. This is the tough thing. Like Donnie Mitchell showed some nice stuff down the stretch. So did John Mechie for the Jets, but there's no Garrett Wilson. Mason Taylor was missing some of those games. What do we do? I just want to know who the quarterback's going to be. But Mitchell at cost, could give you similar spike production to say Garrett Wilson at, 4th round pick. So yeah, give me Mitchell in that case. I will have to check that out. I definitely like Fannin and QJ. They showed a lot as rookies. I think Monken would be positive for them. Holani's definitely slept on. Jordan James, we'll see. The problem with the 49ers is they're, always be closing. They are always drafting rookies, always drafting running backs. Every year they draft one or two. So will be Jordan James as the backup to CMC. We'll see. Yes, that is true. Judy probably fits the same description. I'm just not sure. I don't know. Like Judy had a okay run, with James Winston. That's about it. Like I just can't trust it. Yeah, FK is very anti-rookies to the Pro Bowl. Yeah, this year I definitely had the rookie fever, or that draft I definitely had the rookie fever. Dallas backfield going to be lit next year when they sign Pacheco and Hunt. Oh, please no. Why was Ingram such a bust? Thought Sean Payton would do. Yeah, no, they just never gave him enough snaps. So you had 400 plus yards, but there are very few games where they'd feature him, and I think it was a combo of Harvey catching the ball in the backfield and having 4 receivers who deserve to be on the field and deserve some work. Not many major injuries in that group. That it was just tough to get Ingram enough work on the field, and they just would prefer like a fullback or having to block, multiple blocking tight ends. Yeah, that's exactly what I said, Hulk. What chance is Andrews unlikely leave Ravens? No, well, they re-signed Andrews, so I don't think he's going anywhere. I mean, it's a new staff, you never know. But I don't think he's going anywhere, and he's going to be very close to Lamar, so I doubt that would happen. But maybe Charlie Kohler takes the second seat and there is more involved. I probably won't be drafting Charlie Kohler, though. Actually, I take that. Charlie Kohler is a free agent as well, so because he and likely were drafted the same year. Yeah, 4% guy. Gotcha. Yeah, as Bayou said, Andrews signed a new contract, and Hawk said Kohler's free agent. Yeah, as Hawk mentioned, is about middle of the season. FK, I'm just taking JJ early on while it's fairly low risk. It's confirmed for probably moves up close to where Ward and Mendoza come off the board. Yeah, I don't know. I think I will, even if he's confirmed as a starter, I just don't know if I can take him. I mean, he was so bad that Max Brosmer, I don't know, is that big of a drop off. Like, to me, it's not good that Carson Wentz in the year of 2025 was just a massively better offensive quarterback. Now, were you going to win a ton of games with Carson Wentz? No, but he was competitive in a lot of games. And he was seriously banged up as well. So I know they're still going to leave the light on for JJ on some level, but I just don't trust it. And I just don't know how much Justin Jefferson is going to put up with, honestly. And if not, well, plenty of that is. I mean, that part's true. I'm not fully into receivers when thinking Cooper is. Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, I like Omar Cooper. There's just a whole mix of guys in that range. So interesting to what you think on Surratt, who names. I think I noticed the 10 finishers of big board was a lot of dead roster spots. Absolutely. Yeah. I didn't look closely at the finals last year, but the finals that I was in, where I finished 4 2 years ago, I had like 3 dead roster spots. Every team, as I was looking in the finals, had multiple dead roster spots. So that's the thing with 20 rounds. And this is what I was talking about, stacking, having, whether it's 18 or 20 rounds, let's say you have 3 dead roster spots. That hurts more if you're drafting in August when we have all this information. If you're drafting in August and you were just bullishly saying, I'm going to draft Brandon Ayuk, that's not great. Like, at that point, we kind of knew that was a dead roster spot, right? And drafting Anthony Richardson, and and it was like, no, DJ is the quarterback. You're drafting dead roster spots at a time when most people aren't. But if you're drafting those guys, you drafted those guys in the big board last year. Just so many people are having dead roster spots. That's not hurting you near as much, even if the same process is wrong. In January or February as it is in August. Believing that Anthony Richardson's going to be the quarterback for the Colts or Brandon Ayuk's going to be the guy coming back for the 49ers. It's the same, the rollout's the same, but because of when you did it, and honestly, even Ayuk was a higher cost early on in big board. I think it would hurt you more even taking them 30 picks later in August than it would in big board, because just big board, you pay you extra rounds, which helps. But just so many teams are dealing with dead roster spots. Hopefully that made sense. So you against your mid-2 pod, and you're later. Yeah. Paul has been talking about that in Discord. He has a team in the Super Bowl, but not a lot of active players. But I also don't know if there's going to be a lot of fully active teams. 100%. Guys like Giddens, Restrepo, zeros all year. I mean, that would be my guess. I haven't heard it confirmed anywhere, Blue Blood, that Charbs misses almost all of next season. But ACO, even though they're getting better and better, this wasn't November. This wasn't December. This was mid-January that he tears his ACL. Excuse me. I just would be shocked if he's ready before, week 6. I mean, week 6 was probably the earliest, and I think you're much more likely looking, week 9, 10, something like that. Warren up to Bashman. So and it's just, I think at that point, those kind of guys are free. And same with like Bateman. Some of those will end up as dead roster spots. Some of these guys that I'm mentioning, shouting out, but taking shots on them now when they're at their cheapest. I'm not saying go 20% on them, but take some shots. And if news could get dramatically better for them. Yeah, no, that's a good point. We got Jim in here, Jim Waller. We are back in action. How's it going, Steve? Jim won, what was it? It's a couple of years ago. The Bulldog, I believe it was. So Jim is an excellent drafter. You don't always, you want to see him in your rooms because it's a good drafter, but you don't want to see him in your rooms because he's definitely competing one of those playoff spots for you. I remember it was so not last year, the year before, he had a Lamar Flowers team, I can't remember, but won it with, he's in the Baltimore area, so he won it with hometown Lamar. Pierce finally feels almost draftable. Yeah, no, him falling some is nice. No one has been mocking Lane as a first rounder, and Concepcion has been. So I wonder if people are skipping Lane doing. Yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense. And yeah, I don't think Lane's a first rounder, but I think he's a good receiver and probably a second round guy. In the next 48 to 72 hours, a lot of ZDPs will settle, and then we'll see movers of new info. Yeah, I think for the next 2 weeks, so after the Super Bowl, we won't see too much movement. And then we'll start to get some confirmation or not about some retirements, some early free agent projections, right after the Super Bowl. Of course, by then we'll have some more rookie data after Senior Bowl and just people processing all this stuff. So I agree. The ADPs will settle, I think, after this weekend, and then it'll start to move for a good week, 10 days, and then it'll start to move a little bit. Be fantasy relevant at some point, yeah. I'm sure more than one tight end will be. It's just, to me, it's who's it going to be? Yeah, that's where I'm at by. Yeah, no, landing spot is so key. That's why we had the extra rounds here. And we got Chiato in here. Thanks to you and your group this year. Good luck to everyone. New beginning Best Ball Fantasy. Appreciate you, Chiato. Hope you're doing well. Anthony Richardson is giving me PTSD. I went way down the rabbit hole. Stood on it all last draft season, even when yeah, and that, I get it. We all have those takes. I was the one saying Adam Thielen trade to the Vikings is going to be such a good thing because Addison's out the first couple of weeks and suspended, and Naylor's banged up coming off an injury. They're gonna, they had a couple good matchups early. And it didn't matter because JJ McCarthy couldn't complete a ball. So yeah, I'm washed up now. I doubt that, Waller. All right. Yeah, I can't remember what comment it was, talking about some surplus value that's out there. And I think the best way to look at this is look at some teams. And I actually start because we were talking Mendoza and the Raiders. So sure, you're paying a cost for Genty and Bowers, but you have two guys in the top 20 ADP, and the next ADP, no, we're not counting Mendoza right now, but honestly, we're talking skill guys here, is 188. This almost is guaranteed to be wrong. And granted, they could sign a free agent receiver or two, or maybe draft somebody. Maybe that's where they come from. But if any one of these three fantasy receivers is relevant, Tucker, Besh, Thornton, they are almost assuredly you're getting them at a way cheaper price than you should right now. Because yes, there can be some horrendous offenses that just don't produce enough fantasy upside. I get it. But two guys in the top 20 and then not another guy until 188 and then 215, 239. If I think it's Tucker or Besh, maybe even both, because, you know, even if they're the 2 and the 3 on the team, I think they could be fine. But to me, this is just easy pickings of a late receiver in either Tucker or Besh. You can mix Thornton in as well. I'm personally not right now, but I get it if you do. So that to me is, you know, just some cheap surplus value receiver. Another one that I think is interesting is the Chargers. They're getting Mike McDaniel, offense coordinator. I know some people don't like him, whatever. He's a great offensive mind. I totally believe that. You know, we know the tree that he comes from, the Shanahan tree. We saw what he did in Miami, working with very little, particularly as Tua kept breaking down. I think Ladd is underpriced, to be honest. You know, I think Ladd could be the Tyreek in this offense. QJ, I'm in between on. I think Gadsden's a little underpriced. You know, we saw Jonnu 2 years ago. You know, the Shanahan tree has always prioritized tight ends. You know, particularly Mike and Kyle, that is. But I could see a big year for this Chargers offense, because keep in mind, if you just look at Justin Herbert's splits this past year with just Joe Alt versus not Joe Alt, he is like QB1. Like, he is looks like one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Going to be getting Slater back, going to get Alt back. Offensive line has to be the number one priority. So QJ here, and then, you know, Vidal, I think it has kind of locked in the number 2 role on the team. I think that's a good value. I wouldn't take him too much higher than, you know, like 130. I think is probably the peak I'd go. But for what could be the number 2 back on potentially top 5, top 10 offense, Trey Harris, the gap between Johnson and Harris, I think is a mistake. Like, Harris should probably be in the, even if you think he's the number 3, he probably should be in the 150s as well. And I think there's a real chance that Harris could be above QJ when it's all said and done. So those are a couple early ones. You know what? Let me just go through the AFC West since we're doing that. Chiefs, you know, Rashee Rice. For me, he's going to have to fall. I don't love it. His current ADP, not knowing the legal situation and some other things. We don't know the Kelsey situation, so this is a weird one. Running back, you know, Rashard Smith's the only guy under contract. So I think there's some value there. Hollywood's not under contract. Kelsey could retire, then technically not under contract. Worthy's the only skill guy under contract. And we're taking him 60 spots later than we did a year ago. I get it was a bad year. I do. But it was just one of those things that just kind of all went wrong for him. He missed a good chunk of time. He was not 100%. Then when he did come back, you know, Rice was back and all that. And then at the end of the year, he's out there, and not only no Mahomes, no Gardner Minshew. So just tough to really, I don't think you should go 44 like he was going last year. But 70, 80, I think there's some value here, particularly if Rice has any issues. They don't bring back Hollywood. Also, Tyquan Thornton's a free agent. I think Juju's a free agent. So the bottom of the receiver room is going to need to be refilled. I think Worthy is the only guy they can truly count on right now. And even if Kelsey's back, I think Worthy's fine. And then Kelsey, I will take some shots at him at this ADP because I think there's value. Same with Rashard Smith. I don't want to be, and kind of like what Haim said, that 4% range for those types of guys, because it could totally blow up in your face. But I think there's a real chance of surplus value. Now, the Mahomes thing is one that is tough because he was playing excellent. Then he gets injured. It's a big injury. Hopefully ready for the start of the year. But what I do wonder is, will we see, like we saw Mahomes run, and this is why he was doing so well, run the most that he has since, 2019 maybe. 422 yards, 5 rushing touchdowns. Do we see him actually have his one of his lowest rushing years? Before, we'd been able to count on, at least 38 points in all these years. And many of those were in the 40s or 50s with the touchdowns. And same with last year. Do we see him be a sub 30 point running quarterback? That could hurt his upside a little bit, as with the missed time. Do I think he should go too much later than that? No, but I probably kind of like Dak above him, can make a case for one or two other guys, but it's not a big thing. Just one thing I wanted to note. And then finally, the Broncos. Harvey, I think, is simply too high. They're assuredly bringing in some sort of running back, whether it's Dobbins again, in which case Dobbins is way too low. Sutton, I think, is fine at this price. It's a little lower than it was last year. Didn't have as good of a year, but almost. I mean, just a few yards less, 1 touchdown less. We know what Courtland Sutton is, and I think he's well worth that price. Bo Nix, like I said, should be back by May. Back-to-back, roughly the same years. Maybe he runs a little less, but I don't think he's totally shutting it down. I'm probably going to be lower on Pep Bryant. I think Franklin and Mims are where I want to be at. And right now, I just don't trust Broncos tight end. So shout out if there's any other divisions you want to go through and talk about. Yeah, so I just want to mention that. And maybe I'll start doing this like a division a day sort of thing. Let me know if you like that idea. And we could talk. I'm fine, honestly, talking about any team. Like, for instance, I think I'm going to bring up just a random team. Who's a good random team to talk about? Panthers. This one is definitely interesting. I think T-Mac, very fine where he's at. Rico may or may not be on the team. If he's not, Chuba's a great pick. Brooks may be in that range I'm fine with. If he is, Chuba's not a good pick. And Brooks, I don't want to touch Brooks. I'm probably not touching Leggett. I know it was better, but I think he's running out of chances. He's just making too many mistakes. Not consistent enough. Bryce Young, this one, we know he's going to start. They're not going to replace him. My trouble is he missed a little bit of time, but he didn't run as much as I expected him to. I thought he was going to be kind of what we saw like Mahomes and Nix, like 350 to 400 plus rushing yards, 4 to 6 rushing touchdowns. Hopefully we get that. I think that could pay off more. But Jalen Coker is the one that I really like where he's at. I think he kind of slides into the number 2. I don't see them drafting the first rounder. It's been first rounders, back to back on Leggett and McMillan. I don't see them spending a third in a row. So my guess is Coker is going to be the number 2 guy. I do wonder if like a Jimmy Horn, who flashed a little bit, takes on the number 3 role from Leggett. I think that could be intriguing. And like I mentioned, Javian Sanders. The other thing with the whole Jonathan Brooks thing is Trevor Etienne. I think there's some people who like him in the building. So That's why I don't know if I'm going to totally jump on board the Jonathan Brooks thing, even if Rico signs elsewhere. So, anyways, let me hit up chat and then we can jump into another draft. Take the drink, Steve. Yes, let me take a drink. Love McDaniel to the Chargers. Wish he was Baltimore as OC. Yeah, I think he would have been the best OC option out there. And absolutely love the fit for the Chargers. We're definitely going to do 24-hour stream. I'm sure we'll have other things as well. The QJ wars are going to be fun this entire offseason. I mean, I'm okay with drafting them. I think there's a misprice there. I think QJ should probably be a little lower, Trey Harris higher, because it's not a guarantee that QJ is going to be above Harris. And at the same time, he could fantasy-wise be above McConkey if he gets more touchdowns. I just see McDaniel liking McConkey more. Who's your number one at this time for next year? Bill, running back really quickly. Yeah. So my 1-2 is Bijan Gibbs. That I have them above the receivers. I just think in half-point PPR upside that they give, they get almost as much receiving yards as some receivers, but their just total touchdown output is just so huge, particularly with Bijan with Algier moving on. Jalen Royals is under contract. We'll see if we can get Jalen Royals year 2 bump. Love the division talk. Scared to hear your thoughts on the AFC East. We can talk about it. And some of these will continuously change as things go. Panthers drafting Sadiq. That would be an interesting fit for them. Yeah, I mean, I think they want to, it's one of those things they want to make Bryce work. And they're doing everything they can. But yeah, maybe they would go Sadiq. I could see that. Let me get into another draft. We'll jump into another big board. We'll count it down. We'll enter in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Enter. We are in waiting on 7. So, I mean, Ant, going back to the AFC East, still a lot of unknown in the division with Miami still figuring things out, Jets still figuring out their full coaching staffs. Miami's at least hiring an offense coordinator, Bobby Slowick, which is an interesting call. The Jets still don't even figure that out, but both teams need quarterback. Bills, I saw Joe Brady's going to call plays. I think that's probably the right call. I don't think it's definitely not the issue. So I think it's good for Allen and Cook, but God, do they need to add a receiver? So AFC East is a tougher one to do just because there's so many unknowns. Of course, the Patriots are still playing. If they're running it back for next year, I like Stevenson over Hendo. Henry, Diggs are fine. Kayshon Bouttie's fine. Kyle Williams is somebody to invest in. Douglas probably becomes the odd man out, would be my guess. But do they draft a receiver? Do they keep adding? Yeah, it's a fair question. So this draft, a lot of friends in Valen. We got Eagles in here also. I'm sure he's not in stream, but definitely a very popular, great follow on Twitter. Does a lot of content. We had a really successful year this past year. But we got Legion at 1, FK 2, Eagles at 4, I'm at 5. Let's see, Young Mula at 8. Blue Blood UNC at 11 and Ant at 12. If I missed anyone, please let me know. And thank you again for joining me and talking about all this. Yeah, brutal room, absolutely. My early look on the Bills, I think Cook and Allen are fine where they're going. EK's maybe slightly rich. I think. Let me pick and then I'll continue talking on it. Let's see, goes the Bijan Gibbs 1-2 to Legion and Coolers. Chase goes 3. So they're following my ranks for this draft. Let's see what Eagles does. I will take JT. And one thing I do have CD ranked lower. I have a tough time taking him here. As much as I love CD, I love the Cowboys. I think if Pickens is back, I think it's tough for CD to pay off the top half of the first round ADP. Now, if Pickens leaves, then CD could just have an insane amount of targets. But that's my take on it. It's one of those things I really like him, but I just don't see much wide receiver 1 upside in that situation. And I know some other receivers like Chase obviously has Higgins, Puka has Devontae Adams. And that can be a knock for both of them. But I think it's even a little bit more of a risk for CD, especially just there's also an age gap not in his favor. Pickens is a couple years younger. So not that I think it's a huge thing, but just my early take on it, like CD ahead of these running backs, I just can't really do. I probably will end up taking him some in the back half of the first round just because I don't want to have 0 CD lane. I mean, Hulk, exactly. Appreciate shout out. Amon-Ra, he's just so consistent, year in, year out, change of offense coordinator, doesn't matter. And hopefully the new change will be the same. He's just so good. He's for being a small receiver, he's still such a massive touchdown upside. A lot of more slot or shorter receivers don't have that kind of touchdown upside. They're usually capped at like 7 touchdowns, 8 if you're lucky. Amon-Ra's like, I'll get that by mid-season, so he's just too good. Yep. Yeah, I agree. But it's one of those things like I'm not going to have 0 Lamb. Like Lamb he's too talented to completely ignore, and he's still with a good quarterback. It's not like some other guys that I'm a little lower on, like Justin Jefferson. I worry about JJ McCarthy significantly. Right, I will do Pickens last time. I'll take Derrick Henry. I'll do the running back start. The tough thing with Justin Jefferson is so much of his production came with Carson Wentz. Like his numbers with JJ, not ideal. And it's one of those things like this is where Wentz was the better quarterback, is he understood the assignment, get the ball to Justin Jefferson. For whatever reason, JJ McCarthy could not do that with any near consistency. And that's just a worry that I have going forward for his price tag. I fully think Justin Jefferson's an elite receiver, but just dealing with such a terrible situation. So let me see here. What do I want to do? Coming up in 3 picks. Early running back start. Definitely looking. Would love a receiver to come back to me that I went. All right. I'll go T-Mac. So So yeah, this is with that. I think Jefferson's 3 100-yard games were all non JJ McCarthy games, if I'm not mistaken. Just absolutely wild. Let me catch up chat. Yeah, Neighbors. There's been a little concern about some of the reports on Neighbors, but I'm still drafting him where he's at in the second. Like I won't push him to the first. I know he's 100% ready to go. So yeah, this is what I wonder, Ant, because I think it could be a, Brandon Bean, Sean McDermott type thing. Like KOC knows, it's not shocking when we look back last year, they want to keep Darnold, or, they maybe want to bring Daniel Jones back, or, they're flirting with Aaron Rodgers, et cetera, et cetera. I think Kevin O'Connell knew that there were some serious holes in J.J. McCarthy's game, and but the GM, who I think in general is a good GM, but probably kind of staked his reputation on J.J. McCarthy and kind of forcing him to be it. Where I think Kevin O'Connell knows winning games and keeping Jefferson happy. He might need a quarterback upgrade. Will be a legal draft. Zero. Signing Pickens isn't a lock, especially with Jerry. Pickens could get hurt. Yeah. No, I mean there's still ways that he's a first round receiver for me. I just don't think. I think the chance outside of the Pickens injury, the chance that he's wide receiver 1, the door closes quite a bit. So like I think Puka, JSN, Chase, and even Amon all better paths to wide receiver 1 than Lamb. So that's why it's just, already like we know wide receiver 1 isn't going to score as much as running back 1, probably not as much as running back 2, even running back 3. So let's do it. Let's pull up Scattaboo. Sure, Meg's watching, or will be watching at some point. We'll go heavy RB here. And so that's just my take on it. But I'm not going to have 0. It's just too good overall. I just hope he ends up more kind of where he went 2 years ago, where he's going more at the turn. I mean, Nico's a 3rd round pick to help our future chances of getting him. The Nico price to me is nutty. It's follow-up from how bad Stroud looked. It is. I think it's also. Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely a lot. But, just he's always dealt with injuries, and it was more minor this year, Nico. But he's one of the most talented receivers, but you just question the combo of the quarterback play, the offensive system to a degree, and him staying healthy. So, I don't know if he should be a 3rd rounder, but 2nd for sure. I don't like feeling like one of the only JJ defenders, since I felt like one of the only skeptics last year in terms of what I was watching. Yeah, no, I was definitely a JJ skeptic last year. It's just so hard when you're paying this price. Like, you talk about what can tank your best ball team, and it's missing that badly on a 1st or 2nd round pick. And also, let me make this pick and go to Tyson. It's not even like say Chase, who missed a little time, or Lamb. Clearly they weren't worth their price, but at least when they played, they produced. JJ played all year and didn't produce. Like, he just wasn't close to being worth the pick. Like a Josh Jacobs this morning, 2nd round. But Josh Jacobs, when he was on the field, he was producing 20-point game. Like, he was giving you what you needed. Now, unfortunately, he wasn't there late, and that's a downside for playoff format. But that it's most troubling. Missing time is bad enough, but honestly, Jefferson was even worse because you just weren't even getting any kind of spike weeks, any kind of consistent usable weeks from him, and just everyone else in the first round was just dusting him, even the guys who missed time. So just that generally I think is the hardest way to advance with those types of plays. Now, if the Vikings fully move on to another quarterback and they could bring in Jacoby Brissett, and I will be back on board the Justin Jefferson bandwagon because I know he's going to rip it to him. Kind of honest, just about any quarterback, I feel better. Then sounds crazy, but it's kind of true. I feel better about Justin Jefferson. I just, quarterback who's afraid to throw the ball to arguably the best receiver in football, not ideal for me. Like and listen for the ride home. Appreciate you, best ball and call. Hope you're doing well. Exactly. Totally costs me in most cases not having. Yeah. Just did a draft. I took Rodgers. What? Well, unfortunately, sorry, Jeff. I'm gonna guess that draft's gonna get thrown out. Between the unproven rookie quarterback and the hammy stuff kept popping up in my feed, there are causes for concern. Yeah. Coming up here. No, I'll go Mike Evans. Some veteran leadership for this team. But no, I think Evans is back. Obviously, he wasn't healthy, but I think he's back. And looking forward to him and Baker. Honestly, all the Bucs being healthier. Tristan Wirfs, please be healthy. Give Baker some protection. I think good things will happen. And I think they were smart to make an offense coordinator hopefully upgrade. But I think Zach Robinson's a nice pickup. I do. I think he's got such ties to the team, the community. I think Todd Bowles. I think he's got really strong ties to Baker. So I think they will. It might be a year-by-year thing. But, they're a contending team. And, they missed the playoffs, but, that was more due to fluke than anything else. So, yeah, I could see him. I know he said before he didn't really want to leave. I think even more so now. So I'd just be shocked if he hangs it up. Could be wrong. There's a little risk. I'll be much more secure if this is his ADP after he's back. Than now, I don't want to go too extreme. I think it's probably my second or third share of them. But worth the risk, and maybe I might do 5 running backs or something. Maybe I'll tack on an extra receiver. We'll see how this build turns out. I'm going to go Pierce. Like I said, Weekday's falling. He fell even more here, 77. Sign me up for Alec Pierce. One, I think he could be back in Indy. It would be very fine with that ADP there. But if not, the Bills better just throw the bag at him because he's exactly the receiver that they need if he gets to free agency. In which case, we're going to see Alec Pierce going in the top 40 picks, with Josh Allen. So we'll need to catch up at quarterback at some point. Not any clear great stacks in Baker, but even that, we don't know 100% he'll be back. So probably won't prioritize it as much this draft. I could see that. I think that would be like the exception. I don't know if he'd want to go up there, but yeah, I mean, I think Josh Allen could convince him. I could see that. Evans to the Bills, in which case I got massive surplus value on Evans because his ADP is going to skyrocket. I don't think Evans is going to go to a bad team. I don't think he's going to go to the Jets. I don't think he's going to go to something like that. I think Tampa is most likely. Might have one or two teams that could convince him to make the jump. I'd be shocked if he retires. So where he goes. Pittman, I think, is interesting, particularly Pierce leaves. Pittman, I think, becomes the clear number one. This range, I mean, not a ton of certainty here. In Pittman, more Jacoby Myers, like the depth charts, but they all produce. Go Pittman. Actually, I'm going to go Laporta. I'll take tight end. I do like Laporta with Drew Petzing, the offensive coordinator. Obviously did great things. Tight end for Trey McBride. See Laporta having a nice landing spot with Drew Petzing and coming back to this offense. So just want to mix it up some. Yeah, that's my general sense. And but I think like the Bills are the one exception, right? Like go chase the ring, I know he has one, Brady. But that, there'd be like one or two exceptions out there. I have you pulled up, but actually I appreciate it. Warehouse, hope you're doing well. So yeah, I mean, Evans is one. Like I think Pickens is locked in. There've been a lot of reports about that and speculation from Dallas beat writers, bloggers, even comments from Jerry and company, like being impressed with Pickens and all this stuff. So I'd be so shocked if Pickens is not on the Cowboys, and Evans is like the other one I consider essentially a lock back to the Bucs. All right. Ooh. Mahomes falling is interesting. Unexpected. Interesting. You know what? I will do it. Where he already went. Maybe I'll take a shot on Kelsey later. If not, I'm not going to get too worried about it. Stacking them. Remind me who names. I feel like I read it on Twitter, but I can't place exactly. Micro depth chart Degen show. Steve streams each day, breaking down different teams, depth chart, and make leave on the players he doesn't want drafted as returner from the company. Steve, yeah, that sounds about right. Let's see if I can look up Mike Evans quotes. It was on return soon. Soon could mean 3 to 4 years. Yeah, I like it. Yep. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, I thought I saw something. I think I saw it summarized as Mike Evans not retiring. And that's why I say, like, I would just be totally shocked. The only thing that gave me pause was the fact that he had some major injuries this year. So, yeah, this was funny. Tyler Lockett, they go to 2 Super Bowls right before they bring in Tyler Lockett. He leaves, they go to the Super Bowl again. That is wild. Evans seems super loyal and seems like being in Tampa. Yeah, that's kind of how I see it. Let's see where we're at here on the clock. I'm going to take Brenton Strange. I think I'm going to just stick at 2 tight ends in this build. Allow me to definitely get an extra receiver, because I feel that's a little weaker with the 3 early running backs. And just, Keyshawn Boutte, I mean, I take a lot of Surratt, so kind of pacing myself there. Chris Godwin, I already have Evans. I don't really want to double stack that. Romeo Doubs, don't know where he'll be. I think he's like the poor man starting receiver, outside receiver out there, like who essentially doesn't get Pierce or if Pickens or Evans become available, they'll be looking at Romeo Doubs. And hey, I mean, I think, look, the Bills would kill for Romeo Doubs. Like, he's so much better than what they've been trying out there. There's a lot of teams that could use a Romeo Doubs, that's for sure. Debo, Johnson, Legion, taking my guys. Love it. All right, I will. Take Keyshawn Allen, share, and I mean, this might be a very unique build for me. May I go 10 receivers and only 5 running backs? I really like where my running backs are here. Yeah, I mean, I think the Bills, if they don't throw the bag at whatever free agent receiver is possible, they are insane. I see Steve. I almost took Kelsey just to send a message. Don't ask me what the message would be. I went way better than I was expecting. Oh, not 2 picks before. Oh, that's always rough. Yeah, in my head originally I was going to take Kelsey, but then just with the way the board looked, just double tap tight end and be done there. Who's been taking my guys, so I'm pivoting. So let's just it's all coolers. He's taking your guys, you're taking my guys, Yes, I'm taking his guys. Yeah, we'll say like receiver. I mean, these guys are still falling. Not that I necessarily expect them to be back in 8 picks, but Doubs, Jennings, I feel good about those kind of picks. Downs, not Brandon. I can't. I need to know he is fully invested. I need to see where he goes. I'm hoping it's not my Commanders. People talk about the Jaden connection, but oof. And I don't think that'd be a good landing spot because Terry is clearly better than him. But it's this is a running back range. Tracy, I don't mind. And then going down to Vidal, Connor is where I'd be more comfortable. So that's why I'm glad I took Keyshawn Allen there. Really good about my running back room. Receiver down still there. Shaquille, I think, is fine. Concepcion. No, give me my pick. Casey Concepcion. Very likely the first round pick, if not early second. Yeah, not the exact same frame as Luther Burden, but kind of the same. Can be used out of the backfield. Can be just electric and manufactured touches, but also has some vertical ability. Showed at Texas A&M. He just hasn't had great quarterback play. I mean, Marcel Reed's a good college quarterback. I don't know if he's an NFL quarterback, especially right now. And prior to that, he was even worse. So I think Concepcion still going in the 140s. Really, really good value for a guy. Likely going in the top 50 picks, but probably in top 40. Sniper's a group thing. Got Jay Lives in here. GM, hope you're doing well. Kelly. So Graham Mims Jr., he burned me. Yeah, no, I'm still on the Mims train. At least Mims, you're getting him in the 200s or late, 180s, 190s at best. So there I will be taking quite a few shots on him. All right, wasn't sure to get back to me. We'll take Bryce Young or T-Mac. So maybe I get lucky and the Chiefs take Tyson or Concepcion in the second round. If not, I'm not going to worry too much about unstacked Mahomes. I will say, I know he's still got good snaps, but if Evans is back, Godwin's healthy, and Mbuka's continuing to be Mbuka, what do we do with Jalen McMillan? Talented guy, unquestionable. But fourth receiver, can you really have 4 top 150 receivers on a team? Probably not, particularly with running backs. And I know right now tight end is up in the air, but McMillan is a frustrating one because talent-wise, I want to be drafting him. Would love his ADP if I knew he was a top 3 receiver somewhere, particularly with good offense. But I just worry he's the 4th guy. So that's the one that, if they re-sign Evans, particularly if it's like Evans for a couple-year deal, we just did that with Godwin. They have a very controllable Mbuka. I wonder if they trade Jalen McMillan. The fact that Tez Johnson showed something like he can easily be your 4th receiver. I could see them trade McMillan and get some return for him. Yeah, Charbonnet at 149. I think that's wrong. I don't want to have 0 Charbonnet. It's just injury. Turn good range, and we do know if he's relatively healthy, he's a good running back. But that's why I bumped him to 171. I'll probably bump him next update even lower. I mean, that has been the Bucs. I said it on the show the other day. 49ers, we talked about their injury history. The Bucs these last couple of years have just been brutal with injuries, just absolutely brutal, including McMillan. I mean, he was hurt 2 years ago, his rookie year, missed a couple games, and then last year in preseason. So, yeah. I don't know if I want to go Jacoby Lane again. You know what? I will take James Conner. I might be done at running back. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, down the stretch, I was surprised how much work McMillan got there at the end. Soft fade of Mbuka. I think Mbuka is better. I wonder, I feel like Mbuka was playing injured last year. But yeah, Mbuka's price is tough for me, assuming Evans is back. I mean, if Evans leaves, obviously Mbuka, it's wheels up. But yeah, I think this is probably right, FK. I think I'll be bumping them into like the 180s, 190 range. And rarely we'll pick them there. I mean, some of the 20 round stuff I feel better about, but yeah. You're probably not needing another tight end. Kelsey's still there. I mean, it's one of those things like Kelsey falls, you know, I consider myself taking him. Quarterback dried up. Legion taking my Daniel Jones. Not that I fully expected him back, but yeah. We're gonna go receiver here. I'll be back on the Troy Franklin train. Tank Dell's another one I don't get. I just, why is his ADP 165? I mean, this guy couldn't play at all last year. He's had 2 major injuries in his career. Definitely didn't look the same guy when he came back from the first one. Then had another injury. Couldn't play at all last year. And now, even if they move on from Kirk, Higgins is going to be above him. I think Noel's going to be above him. I just have no faith in taking them anything more than a 20th round flyer. Yeah, Juwan, he's tough because you know he falls in some rooms, but then, you know, if you don't get him, you know, others know that as well. Yeah, no, I mean, 215 could be the absolute right call. Ports saying Kittle could be back in the corner, but I don't think he can need Tonjes. I imagine Kittle starts on club. Yeah, I doubt Kittle will be back week 1. 20 round format, I'll take some Tonjes. I don't also mind taking, you know, because I think you can do like some 4 tight end builds, maybe in taking Kittle and Tonjes. So it's like I have the 49ers tight ends. So yeah, but I'll take a little Kittle. I want to kind of wait and see. I don't believe the week 1 stuff. Yeah, no, Baker was a guy who started just way too low. 144 for a guy who, for 2.5 years, was a top 10 quarterback. Made no sense. I know it ended poorly, but, you know, just, again, he had everything go wrong last year, and he's got too much talent around him. I was actually considering Shador. I'll take a Jacoby Brissett shot. I'm not going to do a ton until we get clarity. I'm pretty much in the camp. I don't know if he'll be the Cardinals quarterback or not. But I don't think him and Murray are on the same team next year. Whether Murray's traded or he's traded, one of them is going to move on. If the Cardinals stick with Murray, I don't see them keeping Brissett as a backup. I feel like you're just setting yourself up to fail at that point. I want to talk about the team quarterbacks are rough. Yeah, I mean, mine, you know, I hodgepodged it together. Love to move up quick too with Watson Crabtree. Yeah, no, and one that's the thing, these guys who we actually know, some actual stacking partners, they are going to get pulled up. To be fair, Buck sign Evans and just have him play as tight end. That'd be amazing. Won't happen, but that'd be amazing. I do wonder if they bring Otten back. I think they like Otten. And I don't think they want to invest a ton of money in the position, but they also could say we'll draft somebody in the second round. And that could be a nice little landing spot. See what Eagles does. Take Trey Tucker, who I mentioned earlier. Having some high potential for me to surplus value. I'm at 3-5-7-2. Can definitely stop at 2 tight ends. Can definitely stop at 5 running backs. Might tack on a 6 there. I don't know if I need 10 receivers. You know, it's not like my receivers are awful. Just thinner. I feel like I have some flexibility in this draft. So you're doing any mixing. Yeah, I said it earlier. I think he's moving up some. I don't want him to move up too crazy. I think anything in like the 170 to where he's going in the 190 range, I think is worth taking a shot just because there's so many other potential. I mean, I just mentioned Tank Dell. Tank Dell, I know he fell, but like Tank Dell legitimately might play. We have rookies. We have, that's just receiver, but Kelsey could retire. Mason Taylor, just so much unknown there. Keaton Mitchell, is he the number 2? Is it Justice Hill? New coach, again, so many just wild unknowns. Omar Cooper going nuts like that. Hawkinson could get cut. Just Helm, could be the number 2, or it could be the starting tight end, could end up number 2 if they sign somebody. Legion, as he mentioned, just throwing darts at quarterback. Kirk Cousins, he could be in the broadcast booth next year. I don't think so. I think he's playing somewhere, whether he's starting or not, we'll see. But, so taking a shot at Mixon here is fine. Like, if he gets into the 150 range, until we know for sure, like, he's signed on, he's back, he's our number 1 guy. I don't want to be too far ahead of my skis on him. But I think I have 1 share so far, and I'll take some more. Just because the upside play, even if he only plays like half a year, maybe he's just that like advancement piece, or maybe it's the second half of the year, which is, would be more ideal. Just too many ways for him to produce value at this late of an 80. But I will say I will cap that. Even if he like stays in this range the entire time, be like 6% Mixon. 8 is the absolute max. I'm not going to be like, oh, the Mixon value, I'm going to be 25% Mixon. Eliminator, I definitely don't see myself maxing. I mean, we'll see if they make any changes. I doubt it. I know it was very popular last year. I about broke even in a limb. But to me, it's a very risky negative EV contest. And to me, maxing is actually not ideal for that contest because it's so hard to get a team to the amount that you would max that the extra entries don't increase your odds. Like, I did 19 teams last year. I basically broke even. Me doing 100 entries was not going to drastically increase my chances of breaking even or profiting. So let's see. Blue Blood takes Mixon. Let's take another rookie shot here. Jeremy Bernard. Let's see, he's staring me in the face. Maybe I stick with 5 running backs and take Kelsey. See if he gets back. Trade to the Bucks, yeah. Flying low, Bucks largely out on Otten. I do think Otten could be a starter somewhere. I think he's shown a lot. Like, he's a good blocker. He is. Trying to think of a good, kind of like a Dalton Schultz. And I don't think he's going to cost me what Dalton Schultz did a couple of years ago, just because he hasn't had that massive year. But good enough blocker, can be out there all the time. When players go down, he can increase his usage, but he's also not a guy who it's like, sure, you're scheming up targets for. But in the right system, he can be a good, solid tight end. Yeah, I could see them drafting tight end. Oh man, I think I gotta take Kelsey at this point. So far past ADP, I have Mahomes. Yeah, I can talk myself into that. Njoku to the Bucks, Evans resigns, Worth back. Yeah, that would be a fun offense. I doubt they spend that kind of money. Though I wonder what Njoku's contract will look like coming off injury. Yeah, if they go first round, Sadiq and Tampa would be real nice. Appreciate it. Mixing it close to done. Rising until news comes out. Yeah, in that range, 180, 191, 200. I will, like I said, be like 6 to 8%. Oh man, if Joe Mixon had hit this year, I have so much more in my account. I didn't draft him too much, but somehow had like top 150 big board team with them on it. And yeah, no, I had so many, and even early, even into like May, late May, early June, I was like, he'll be back. And then he was falling. And it's like, okay, now you're getting mixing in the 90s, 80s, 90s. And it's like, okay, sure. He starts the year missing a few weeks. What's the big deal? Like, I care about the playoffs. He missed 3 games last year, and he was so great. And, I just kept talking myself into it for way too long. And another guy talking about, like with Ayuk and Richardson, that ended up being a total zero. But I do think, like you said, you still had a 150 big board team, even though you took him at his highest price. I'm sure the fact that again, 20 rounds and so many other people are having clear misses allows those teams to still be pretty good. All right. I'm going receiver here. Get my 9th receiver. Michael Mims. Ornoy, I think it's always interesting. Slayton. Do a rookie like McAllister. By Fields. Mims. And Cup is one. I know some people think he's totally washed, totally done. He's still out there. He's still getting routes. We could see more balance next year. I think he could do a lot worse in 20th round than Cooper Kupp. I don't think he retires. He's under contract for another 2 years. Next year, he has every reason to play. He seems to want to play. So my guess is he's back, and I think we could see even closer to 2024 production, in which case he's a massive steal at this late pick. I will review these teams quick, and let me know if you want me to do a third draft. I'm feeling up for it. Kind of like how at 5% Josh Jacobs. Oh man. Man, that last pick was supposed to be Jay Sanders. Oh, sorry about that. She's talking about stack pieces of mine again. What a surprise. You hearing this stuff? All right, let's go through the Legion first. Oh, wow. He really said it. Like his quarterback situation, 5-5-7-3. CJ Stroud, Daniel Jones, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, Carson Beck. I'm shocked, but I mean, I get it somewhat. Like, you don't know about the Cousins, even you don't know DJ. It would be fully ready. So taking some extra shots, keep your team alive. I mean, gotta survive. Bijan Jacobs, Emma Johnson, Braylon Allen, Giddens, first four feel really good at Giddens. Ideally, he becomes a number 2 in Indy. Nico, Terry, Rome, Diggs, very strong wide receiver room to start. Very strong throughout. Pittman, Shakir, and Debo. Tyler Warren, Juan, and Colby Parkinson. So, tight end, Parkinson feels like a nice add-on as well. FK, who are you going for? Florida probably. Trevor Lawrence, Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray, Gibbs, Swift, Rico. I like that running back room, even with that, only one in the top, 4 rounds. Kamara, easily have the role. Robinson, Mitchell, Harris. I think people are ignoring Najee Harris. I think that's a mistake. I think he probably ends up as at least a solid number 2 somewhere. Pickens, Higgins, love that start. That receiver, Flowers, Brian Thomas, Travis Hunter. Really get the Jag stack. Going with T-Law, Shaheed. We'll see where he ends up. He's a free agent we didn't really talk about. He could have a big market. Tank Dell. Got him 30 picks past ADP. So to get that much more palatable there at 194 than 165. Then Ferg, Hunter Henry, David Njoku. Love that type. Eagles in the chat. It is happily look over his team. Mine 3593. Mahomes, Young, Jacoby Brissett, JT, Henry, Scattaboo, Katron Allen, James Conner, T-Mac, Jordan Tyson, Mike Evans, Alec Pierce, Casey Concepcion, Franklin, Tucker, Bernard, Marvin Mims. So doubling up the Denver receivers at the end. But if you're going to double up on a team like that, yeah, a team that's really good. Makes a lot of sense. And Sam Laporta, Brenton Strange, and Travis Kelce was not going to do it, but got 40, almost 40 picks of value. Felt I had to. Young Mula in here, 2873. Lamar Hurts, so he double tapped those high end quarterbacks and left it there, and then went with the 0 RB strategy. Monangai, Orm, Woody Marks, JCM, Mason, Benson, just throwing volume at it. Brooks, Caleb Johnson. It's not something like I'm not a high 0 RB guy, but I get it with this kind of team. Monangai and Corm give you at least some level of floor. Marks probably does as well. Mason, I think, actually even more so than JCM. But taking some shots. I mean, as we talked about the Carolina situation before, Brooks could work into a bigger role. Benson could work into a bigger role. Caleb Johnson all could work in bigger roles. So I get it. Really elite wide receiver room of Lamb, Neighbors, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith. Then, of course, you can wait. Big Bryant, Bateman, Walker. So 2 Eagles, 2 Ravens, Sadiq, Helm, and Pat Bryant. Next up is Blue Blood, UNC, Justin Herbert, Tyler Shuck, Riley Leonard. Leonard could have a chance to start early on before DJ is healthy. I know DJ is free agent. I still assume he is fully back with the Colts. But taking a late shot on Leonard, not terrible in case something goes wrong there. McCaffrey, Genty, Stevenson, very strong running back room to start. And Tucker taking the fall on Charbonnet. So you got 30 picks of ADP value there. I think we talked about in chat, could need more. Mixon, this is a nice little balance. Like Charbonnet, we know is probably starting the year injured. Mixon has some upside to maybe, be ready to go and give a lot of extra value. And Chris Rodriguez, as I said earlier, I think is a fine pick at the end. Glad, Adams, Boston, QJ, Coker, Surratt, Corey Horton, nice mix of rookies, some young guys, and of course, some key guys ready to go up top. And then Gadsden likely. Yeah, no, very, very strong draft. Ant, 3692, Goff, Penix, Tua. Goff might be your only guarantee guy. but probably a fair chance one of Penix or two are starting, maybe both. Just a matter of where. For two, I don't think it's in Miami, but Penix definitely could end up being the Atlanta guy. Etienne, Hampton, UJ, Monty, then taking Isaiah Davis shot with all probably moving on. Rashard Smith, as we talked earlier, Checo, Hunt gone. If they bring in another running back, Smith could have a role. Jameson Williams, Garrett Wilson, TK Metcalf, DJ Moore, Juwan Jennings, Jerry Jeudy, Donnie Mitchell, Tesla, Mooney. So yeah, having some volume at receiver. A lot of it is just so much unknown with guys like Wilson, Metcalf, and a little bit Juwan Jennings, where he lands. But we know the upside. We know the talent of those receivers. Just will they have the quarterback play to pay off? Kyle Pitts, Harold Bannon. It's a nice went back to back there. Got 22 picks of value on Pitts. 12 picks of value on Bannon. I like that move. All right, you guys feel up for another stream, or another draft. All right, I think I will do one more draft if you guys are up for it, and then I'll hit up chat. All right, we'll enter the big board in 10 seconds. And in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. All right, fresh room, waiting on Nate. Let me catch up on chat as we are waiting. Yeah, I talked about Flournoy. Flournoy and Bourne are the only players with multiple 100-yard games drafted after the Wan'Dale Addison range. That's a great point, Hulk. I am a menace. Kelly, appreciate the compliment. Like Flournoy, not sure how good he is, but he's better than random replacement level receiver. I mean, I definitely think with Dak, Flournoy is a nice add-on. If you've already done like one, maybe two of CD Pickens or Ferg. I mean, probably not. Me, I don't love overstacking. So if you already have two of them, I don't think you need Flournoy. But throwing them in at the end, it's probably going to give you a couple usable weeks, even if everyone stays healthy. Steve, what would be one of the free agents you'd love to see the Commanders get, and one free agent you'd love to see on any team for fantasy purposes? Is this draft filling? Let's see. Refreshing just to make sure. I don't miss a pick. He's still waiting on 6. Commanders, I'd love to see them get a running back. I don't know if they need to spend up for Breece Hall. I would be very happy with like a Rico or I think Cowboys really want Javonte back, but I'd be okay with Javonte. If they were to get Breece Hall, I wouldn't hate it. Also, really think they need tight end, and I don't know. I want to go the Kyle Pitts route, but give me Isaiah Likely. I think that'd be a lot of fun. As for a free agent, any team, it's tough because I think some guys really depends on the team. Like, I don't know if the Jets are going receiver, but Alec Pierce to the Jets, no bueno. Alec Pierce to the Bills, yeah, sign me up. Alec Pierce to the Chiefs, sign me up. That kind of thing. So it's tough to say one free agent that could go anywhere and I'd be happy. So I do think landing spot can drastically change the player's value, even a really good player. Like Breece Hall. Now he's a situation he's probably going to an upgrade no matter what. But there are maybe he goes to a situation where they split the work too much. It's not great. So I get the 101. We got King of QC in here. I recognize some of the other names, but FK is in here, and Legion is in here as well. So I recognize like Dak4, 88 Lamb, and I said somebody in chat, please let me know, and Jordan Madden. So I will just take Bijan when it is ready in a couple seconds. How much to delete the stream from the archives again for that quarterback room screenshot? Yeah, no, you're right. I probably should have looked at Eagles draft. He's a very good drafter, very sharp. He definitely has process. I really appreciate him as a Twitter follow, and highly recommend it. Running back by committee, something different. Quarterback's too much value. Yeah, no, I get it. And like, that's not my top strategy to draft, but doing volume, I definitely recommend doing all sorts of drafts styles, and 20 round, it can be easier to really stack up a running back room. I think you landed on a lot of guys who are at least going to be number twos, with some upside. Appreciate it, Mike. Good luck with your show, JB Sports, and everyone, don't forget to give them a look on YouTube as well. I have a feeling in this draft, Legion might be taking 2 quarterbacks early just so he doesn't have that situation again. Brian Thomas, 100-yard games with Mac Jones, 3. Bourne, 100-yard games with Mac Jones, 3. Brian Thomas, 100-yard games with T-Law, 1. Yeah, definitely some wild stuff there. Super Bowl pods are live. Thanks. I'll be interested to see during BPMD, like, how many teams can even field a full Super Bowl roster. I can imagine it's that many. Yeah. This playoff basketball was brutal this year. So Paul, you'll have to let us know how many teams you're seeing are 100%, and not just like Eric Saubert, filling in. I mean, I guess if somebody threw in a late George Holani, it works out well, but Afton Chisholm, I'm not really going to count on as being a big producer. And of course, sometimes a couple years ago, Cole Hardman, but so you never truly know. But sometimes those quote unquote full Super Bowl teams are not as full as people make them out to be. So coming up, I obviously want Bijan 1 here. A lot of times I will double tap receiver, but a lot just depends on what comes back to me. Chase Brown's the one running back there. I don't mind at the turn. So we'll see what's there. I was hoping for Nico. I know we talked about him before, but just haven't really gotten him. Chase Brown and Higgins. So we get 2 pieces of the Bengals. I think they'll be a better offense this year, at least I hope. But if not, this team probably won't go far. We know where it's going to go for the Bengals. It's just, can Burrow stay healthy? That's what it boils down to. And ideally can T again stay healthy as well. So I was just trying to catch up on news. I see the Steelers are close to hiring Patrick Graham as DC. Wondered if they'd look to get Schwartz, but I mean Graham's a good defense coordinator. Not much else seems to be going on right now, unless I'm missing something. So let's see. FK's on the board right now. He's at 1-1. I should scout his team to start seeing what players I can snipe and talk about. I'm just kidding. He adds Josh Allen. I think after seeing Legion's team, he got scared into taking quarterback early. But no, I like Allen in the 30s. I think we just see year in, year out. He's just so consistent. JT didn't like the wide receiver in the one the other night from 1-1, so I went Brown, Walker up. Was running the 3 running backs, so it was nice. Yeah, no, I get it. And Kenneth Walker is somebody I'm going to be ahead of the field on. I feel like unless something crazy happens in the Super Bowl, I think he's 100% back. The Jennings Hardman year will forever haunt me. And the winning team bounced by 0.3 on UD, and oh my gosh, that is brutal. Hulk. Niners rumored for Schwartz. That would be something. I mean, quite the replacement for just keeping me a Titans coach. So yeah, Schwartz to the Niners would be fun. EBMD not updated yet. I checked the first 5 names on my Mitten 2 pod. I had 3. One had 3 active players, the others had less. Yeah, that's what I'm imagining. I mean, when it's so many Rams being clear cut, that guys pushing through even into the Super Bowl week. Yeah, I think the Super Bowl is, I don't have anything there. But for those who do, I would not be surprised if a non-full roster wins it, because if you just have that right combo, clearly you need the quarterback, likely JSN, Walker, Stevenson. Let's say you get that, and whichever quarterback ends up scoring the most, that could be enough. So I just don't know if there's that many combos of those 4 guys. Take Drake McVay. And I think I will take Lutherburg. So that's what I'm going to want to see. 16 is 0. Oh my God. When you see Mitten 2 pod, I mean, isn't it just the finals? Like, isn't it just a big 500, whatever it is, person finals? So did they really split it up in pods beyond that? So yeah, I don't know. I think when BBMD shows up, JSN, Ramondre, Walker, those who are that combo with a live quarterback, whether it's Darnold and May, I think are just so far ahead of, say, a team that has Mario Douglas and Cooper Kupp and, Travion Henderson even. Like, I just don't think you're in the same ballpark. Diggs or Booty, but Booty especially is such a tough matchup. Maybe Hunter Henry, but in Underdog tight end doesn't have a unique position. Like drafters, I think you would need like a Hunter Henry or Barner to make some points. But wow, yeah, I'll be interested to watch what that battle is. So definitely post your team. So 1-2-2, May, Bijan, Chase Brown, Higgins, Luther Burden. What May? I like the value there. He's already fallen. He started 37, 38. Already fallen a little bit as FK's breakdowns have shown. And then I get him beyond that. So that feels good. Easy to backstack. Also not super as important to do so. I don't mind where Kayshon Boutte goes or Diggs or Hunter Henry. So that's the other thing. I like where his stack partners go. There's some quarterbacks where I don't like where they go, and then it just becomes harder to feel good. One big pot on Yuki. Okay, that's what I figured it'd be. I have Darnold, KW3, JSN only in a mid and 2. Didn't think I had a chance to ladder up. Well, but so, those are 10, May can easily outscore Darnold, but if Darnold ends up as top QB, you could have the top QB, running back, and receiver. And how many people have that combo? Now, am I sure that some have it with a fourth or fifth piece? Absolutely. And I think the real key for anyone who could tack on like a Ramondre or a Henry or Diggs would feel really good where they're at, even if they don't have a full roster. But yeah, those are the three guys. I mean, May, Darnold, I think it could go either way. But Walker and JSN are just, their usage should just be off the charts. That's why I wanted to be Ramondre, because as we saw, Hendo got 4 snaps. They don't seem to love Hendo. Okay, this got interesting. Burrow went. I'll take Caleb. I would have honestly preferred Burrow falling to me or being there. But I'll take a falling Caleb, pair with Luther Burden. And then I'll take Diggs with May. So that worked out. Yeah, Jackson, Seattle, Chicago. Nice. So, that's wild because Jacksonville loses the week 1. It's not even like you had the Bills or Denver, that were pushing you through. I think it's a couple of things. I think one, if you're taking JSN, it's an easy guy to pull up for the stack, or Kenneth Walker, just the team stack correlation. And 2, Super Bowl tax, but it's also, we just know he's definitely starting. And we saw in the playoffs, he can produce. It's not like he had some big games throughout the year against Tampa, against Washington, a couple others. And part of his issue is their defense is just so good. They're getting just games they didn't need him at all. And so, should Darnold now is QB 20. I think that's a fair range for him. How many quarterbacks behind him are really in position to outscore? Not that many. Would I be surprised if a couple do? No. But I don't think it's they're all poised to outscore. And I just think right now with so much uncertainty, you take your guys. I'm guessing a lot of it is the JSN. The team that drafts JSN just says, okay, as my second or third quarterback, I'll pull up Darnold around. I'll pull him up 18 picks, 20 picks. Do I always love that? No, but I get it. Well, we will definitely be rooting for you, Paul. None of my mid teams are there, or Meg, so I'll be rooting for you, Paul. I hope you can have a nice finish. I don't expect you to finish at the top with just 3 guys, but I think you got the right 3 guys to move up a few ranks. Let's see, coming up here, 2, 2, 3. We'll still probably tack on a 3rd quarterback, even though I took him too early. But this is where I feel much better about taking the, Brissett's, Shador's, Cousins, etc. So not too much shocking going on, I feel like, in this draft. I missed something. This is speaking of Concepcion earlier, at Boston, likely a late 1st round pick, goes 79. That's a little above his ADP, but fine pick. Concepcion's still going in like the 130s, 140s. It's like that. Go Pippin. Feel pretty solid about my receiver core now. Now I'll turn to running back. Just don't have enough. I'm going to pull up Algier. It's a little high, but I just have not gotten him. And I do not assume he's back with Atlanta at all, so don't think he's going to be backing up Bijan. I just didn't want to go tight end or another receiver right there. Didn't mind Rico or Price, but a little bit more than them, so I take an Algier shot. Oh. So, I guess my question to chat is, for those who have done it, how are you feeling about? I watched Huheim's stream for the drafters. I have not done a drafters yet. Definitely seems to be different. For anyone who's done drafters, what do you think on the ADPs there? Because there definitely seem to be some differences in the stream I watched from Huheim's yesterday. Start doing some over the weekend, and I imagine you'll start releasing a smaller contest as well. And I haven't touched DraftKings yet. I believe I saw that they released theirs by computer. My hope is Underdog releases a few smaller contests, I'm sure after the Super Bowl, for this pre-draft as well. Wouldn't even mind a super flex one, but I don't know if we'll get that. Let's see, coming up 2, 3, 4 back-to-back picks. Probably looking at one running back, one receiver if it lands right. All right, BBMD is updated. Only 65 out of 3,750 teams have that 3-player pair. 20 to 65 do not have a fourth piece. I'm destined to split at least 20 ways. The finals is 3,750. I did not realize that. Or is it 375? Yeah, I think that's probably what it is. I think that's a false 0. Go Emmett Johnson. And for wide receiver, Keyshawn Boutte. I think I'm going to go Tebow. I think there's just more upside. Golden is interesting. But yeah, so 375 of that 3-pair. 20 to 65. Plus at least one additional player. Wow. Today, DK didn't have it out. Okay, good to know. Paul, and I can look. I know you'd have to look at every player, but how many is there a way to tell how many have 0, 1, or 2 play? Only 0, 1, or 2 players. I don't know. I haven't looked at BBMD to see if they have that for the functionality. But yeah, wondered that if. Let's see if I can bring it up. Paul says the mitten 2 use in. So second. Well, that is when you say 2,500 and 3,750, that's how many were in the playoff. Like the advanced was it was 1 of 10, 375 advancing. So now it's showing the advancing teams, if I'm not mistaken. It doesn't look like it's up. It says last update 65 hours. I don't think it's update. You could probably just sort by the advancing teams. So I thought the finals was only like 375. I could be wrong. Yeah, I guess you wouldn't go unless. Gold is falling. That's interesting. All right, I will take a falling golden, and I will bring up Mendoza. I want a third quarterback. No, I can wait on quarterback. Take golden. I'll take Mark Andrews. First tight end. No, it's all good. Yeah, so I mean, it might even be less than those 20. I don't know if all 20 of those advanced. So, yeah, I would be very interested to see. Let me just see something. Jason Walker, Darnold, and Ramondre. So if this is right, only 5 teams advanced with the 4-person combo in the mitten 2 of JSN, Walker, Darnold, and Ramondre. Only 15 total teams had it. So 5 of 375 have it. So according to this, the mitten 2, 24 teams had your 3-man combo. Paul. So that's 24 teams of that advanced of the 375. So that looks very promising. I don't know if there's a way to tell about not having another player. But no, I think you're in a good position. And just Walker JSN combo. Yeah, Walker JSN, like clearly the nuts, what everyone should be wanting. It says 43 advancing teams of the 375. And let me just add May. I've dropped to 16. Stevenson dropped to 10. So, I mean, there's clearly going to be combos out there, but I think having those 3, particularly Darnold, can outscore May. You're in a pretty solid position. Darnold only had 66 teams, 375, and May had 45, and maybe some of those overlap. I'll have to check in a second after I make my picks. James Conner. Bryce Young. So yeah, this is what I mean. So seven teams had both May and Darnold advanced in this mitten 2, Paul. And so essentially 100 of the 375 have a quarterback. You're one of those. I think that's a big plus. I'd rather have a quarterback than have fill out the rest of the roster, particularly when the other guys that you have are Walker and JSN. So yeah, I mean, Pat's run defense is good. This could end up being a low scoring Super Bowl for sure. I mean, we know what Seattle can do. So I don't know. I think you're in a pretty good spot when only, less than a third, about 26% of a quarterback, and you're one of them. Feels like you should be able to move up, because that quarterback should be worth more than having, probably, of course, things can happen, Henderson and Hooper and, Cooper Kupp. And that's the other thing with the Charbonnet injury. I'm sure there's some Seattle teams that did push through with Charbonnet. It's like, it's totally done. Because, Walker and Stevenson are just such a far ahead. Yeah, it feels like it had to be like one big run or something like that for Hendo to be the guy you need in the Super Bowl, even as a flex. All right, so I got my third quarterback. Got a little value on, all of them, but on Brace as well. 5 running backs, probably tacking on 6. 6 receivers, probably tacking on 2, probably tacking on 2 tight ends. I see this as a standard 3-6-8-3 build. Second highest team drafter second chance. $1 with Hendo, and nice. Good luck, good names. Yeah, and drafters is key because you had to have a tight end. Now, when you say full roster, is that like Henry or Barner at tight end, or Austin or Hooper? So that is where you're filling it, but could be way behind the 8 ball. All right, coming up here. We'll take that Joe Mixon share we've been talking about. And receiver, I will go Trey Harris. Three, 6, 7, 1 more receiver, 2 more tight ends. Looks like that's how this team's going to go. The solo Barner team somehow still only 15 points first. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, well, now this will be interesting, especially, the difference with drafters is having a full team is so important because, if you're ahead, and even if you have the combo of like Kenneth Walker and JSN, but you're not filling out a full roster, those points just more and more people catch up just because so many, there are however many that could draft Hunter Henry drafted them, however many could draft AJ Barner drafted them, et cetera, et cetera. So teams that are full are way more important on drafters. I don't see a lot of full rosters, I'm guessing, on Underdog. So let's see here. Trying to just do it quick. I know this isn't perfect, but I just did something, and these could still have multiple players, but I just did looked on the Mitten 2 and did non-rostered Barner, JSN, Kenneth Walker, Ramondre Stevenson, Hunter Henry, Steph Diggs, Sam Darnold, Drake May. There's 99 teams that don't have any of those players. So that seems those teams are going to have a tough time. I feel like even if they did sneak in a couple Patriots and Seahawks, probably those 99 are going to have a tough time making anything above them in, would be my guess. Outside, of course, some crazy stuff happening with like Hendo and Cup and etc. All right, up in 5. The tight end is really thinned out. A few names I still like. I don't think I'm going to worry about stacking Bryce Young. With JT Sanders, I could, but not a priority. We are going to maybe double tap tight end. I think I'm going to go Ernie and I don't know if I want a rookie. I'm going to go Ernie and Gunnar Helm. And I'll take one receiver at the end to finish up this team. I appreciate everyone for joining me in chat, in the drafts. Don't forget to hit the like button. We'll go over the teams and wrap up after this last round. Thank you so much for chatting with me and talking ball. Mitch in USA now, a DK playoff team with May, Stevenson, Booty, Shaheed, Henry. Oh, that feels good. Feels pretty good. I mean, you don't have JSN or Walker, but Stevenson can outscore Walker. Booty, Shaheed, maybe not outscore JSN, but having a full roster feels good. So definitely let us know how that goes, Mitch. That seems like a team with some life for sure. But probably the key for you, JSN can't have a 40-point game. But the key is May and Stevenson are QB1 and running back 1 would be good. So coming up on my last pick, receiver. Plenty of names you can throw out the dartboard here. Tap a rookie if I have to. Like Skylar Bell, McAllister, Fields, all fine. Jalen Lane, Washington. Caffrey. I don't mind Kirk. Malik Washington even. I think I'll probably go rookie. King QC making their last pick. I'll go McAllister. Definitely, I've taken Bell already, so that's where I'll go. Paul saying, didn't know until now that you could enter our team on BBMD. I didn't realize that. I just typed in the players. Non-rostered, 40% of the pod does not have a New England player, and 41% of the pod does not have a Seattle player. So what I'll say, like, and it's possible to have a full team, you know, with just one side. But likely you're taking some weaker guys, but I'd say that's way less likely with Seattle. Like, I don't think you probably advanced the full team because they had to buy week 1. So taking 5 of your 10 spots for Seattle, I doubt you're getting out of week 1. Maybe you could have done that with New England, like, you know, have Douglas or Kyle Williams and Cooper as like the late, you know, like May Stevenson and Henry and, you know, whatever, but doubtful. The ones that don't have any New England, I can't even imagine that 48% could even field a full roster, because I just don't think you can do that from Seattle alone. And so I think you, again, like, you could fill a full one from New England, but I doubt it. Well, I will say there's probably some overlap because, like you said, there's some teams with 0, right? So it's probably a little bit more than 11% that have pieces of both, would be my guess, Paul. Not by much, but maybe like 12 or 13, 15 minutes. I'm guessing there are quite a few, not quite a few, but there's going to be a few zeros. Guys, just they're happy to get the final money, but that's it. All right, let's review teams. I was first, 3683 standard build. May, Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, but got value on all of them. Bijan, Chase Brown, reach a little on Algier, but I just wanted a piece. Emmett Johnson, James Conner, Joe Mixon. I was glad to get rid of Joe Mixon at the end there. Higgins, Burden, Diggs, Pittman, Debo, Golden, Trey Harris, and then finally tacked on a rookie late in Eric McAllister. Tight ends waited, but got Mark Andrews, and he's even fallen some. He started like 138 ADP. He's fallen a little bit. Pat Fry and Gunnar Helm. So pretty happy with that team, even though not perfectly stacked or anything. I mean, first 2 guys stacked. King QC, Mahomes, DJ, Jacoby Brissett, Tua. So he went 4, 6, 7, 3. But you know, this is what you have to do when you have some uncertainties. Take 4 quarterbacks. Maybe you get lucky and all 4 are starting. But also Mahomes and Daniel Jones, you run the risk of neither one's ready week 1. So just give me more outs. Buggy, Swift, Stevenson. I mentioned before, I like Singleton, so really like this running back room. Mitchell, I'm not the biggest fan of, but you know, that late, no issues there. JSN, Justin Jefferson, absolutely crazy to get at pick 20. He almost came back to me. Zay Flowers, Xavier Worthy, Jaden Higgins. Really like how the receiver room turned out. And, you know, I'm not historically the biggest Flowers fan, but he's fine. Exception, you know, if you're going to take Tyreek Hill, take him on a team where he ends up being a total, you know, injured, bust, whatever. I think you're still fine with this room. Tyler Warren, Travis Kelce, Chig, the same sort of thing with Kelce. If Kelce retires, you're totally fine with Warren and Chig. Just that team. So I think it's just FK and Legion. If I missed you, please let me know. FK 3773, Allen Goff Rogers. So we tacked on Rogers at the end, but Allen Goff, Genty, QJ, Tootin, Mason. You know, at the very least should be number 2s in here with just throughout JK and Braylon Allen, Ray Davis, we'll see. I think Ray Davis is a good handcuff. Probably doesn't have a role unless Cook goes down, but that's sometimes what you got to do. Monroe, Garrett Wilson, DK, Vaughn Jennings, Chris Godwin, Kyle Williams, Jack Betch. So I mentioned Betch, and we talked about these second-year, second, third-round receivers like Betch, Kyle Williams, etc. They're going so late, and they could easily have that second-year breakout that we always look for. We're a really, really strong tight end room. Juwan Johnson, it's so wild his ADP. Sometimes he's in the 150s, they're 176. And then Legion, 3593. Lawrence, Nix, Tacton Cousins, James Cook, Henry, Kyron Williams, Rico Dowdle, David Montgomery. I see why you go 5. Very strong running back room. Ton of certainty with top 3 and 2 guys who have plenty of outs to be very valuable. Devontae Adams, Rome, Courtland Sutton, Jacoby Myers, nice receiver room. Franklin, Orton, Jeremy Bernard, Bailey, Mims, excuse me. And totally stacking up Knicks, which is not bad. I mean, I think the Broncos receiver room is a good best ball receiver room. Outside of Sutton in regular fantasy, I don't think you want them, but you're going to have weeks where Franklin hits, where Mims hits, so it makes sense. Goddard, Likely, and Trick. So nice team, nice different builds. Get up out of here in a second. Just want to hit up chat and remind everyone 9:30 tonight, Degen Dads. So be sure to tune in on that. And hope everyone is having a great day. I will read chat out, and then we'll get out of here. Attempt to stop 2 quarterbacks, but didn't like those final choices. Maybe 2 was better. I mean, hey, you were the one. Rodgers, great. Rodgers plays like that's a lot of extra value. I feel like strong FK, usually the ones that we don't like that we smile at in December. Very true. Noon tomorrow, partying with Steve. 1 p.m. for me. We'll be back tomorrow. Then do a show tomorrow night with Meg. I think we're doing Sibling Showdown tomorrow night as well. So anyways, hope everyone has a great day. Enjoy drafting, and I will catch you next time. Peace.